थम जाएगा ये समा, चला है तिरंगा छूने आसमां, चला है तिरंगा छूने आसमां, छूने जोश को लेके साथ साथ में सबको थामे हाथ हाथ में, उन्नति की ओर में बांधे सब एक दौर दौर में, विश्वास को लेके संग संग में जीत के लाखों रंग रंग में, एक बड़ी सी सोच सोच में कुछ नए की खोज खोज में, चला है छूने आसमां, चला है तिरंगा छूने आसमां, छूने
Wonderful. What a great combination of experiences that we have just seen. To begin with, may I request Sri Sanjay Bhus Reddy, Additional Chief Secretary, Excise and Sugar Industry Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh, to please join us on stage for the lamplighting ceremony. Sir, if you could please join us on stage. Can we have a round of applause for Sri Sanjay Bhus Reddy? I'd also like to request Mr. Anish Dhawan, Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India, to please join us on stage for the lamplighting ceremony. A round of applause, please. And Dr. Ravi Gupta, Founder and CEO, Elets Technomedia, and Editor-in-Chief, eGov Magazine and Digital Learning Magazine. Can we have the lamplighting, please?
पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तुते ओ दीप ब्रह्मरूपस्थं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीप ब्रह्मरूपस्थं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि पुत्रांश्च पतिं स्वच्छामि मे सदा रवेरस्तं समारभ्य.
May I request Sanjay sir and Mr. Anish Dhawan to please take their seats on the dais. And may I request, and I'd like to now welcome Dr. Ravi Gupta, Founder and CEO of Elets Technomedia Private Limited, and Editor-in-Chief of eGov Magazine and Digital Magazine. Dr. Ravi Gupta has conceptualized and orchestrated several national and international knowledge exchanges and collaborative discussion platforms in different parts of the world. Dr. Gupta, a social entrepreneur, has been promoting the concept of information and communication technology for the development of society for the last 2 decades through research advocacy, conferences, publications, and workshops. A doctorate in business economics from University of Delhi, he is a double M.Tech from prestigious institutions like IIT Roorkee and IIT Kanpur. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Ravi Gupta on stage for his welcome address. Can we please put our hands together for Dr. Ravi Gupta?
Welcome, honorable delegates on the dais. Our keynote speaker, Sanjay Bhus Reddy ji, who is the additional Chief Secretary, Excise and Sugar Industry Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Welcome, sir. I also welcome Anish Dhawan ji, who is the Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India. And I welcome our esteemed delegates in this room. This event which is the Digital Governance Summit uh, under the overarching umbrella called Future Ready Bharat, is looking at how IT is making a change in the lives of the common man in India. How are the government departments taking initiatives in this arena of uh, making government services digital and making citizen services uh, much more accessible and easy to use uh, for the uh, common man. In the state of UP, almost each and every department is using IT in a big way. But Uttar Pradesh is a agriculture driven state, and sugar cane production is one of the most important economic activity which happens in Uttar Pradesh. And huge amount of economic activity is linked to the sugarcane production. And uh, linked to it is the excise department, which is again one of the biggest revenue generators of the government government across any state of the country. So in this context, we have this fireside chat organized along with Shri Sanjay ji, who will speak about his experience in implementing IT in the departments, and these experiences and innovations which are happening in UP are being replicated across India by several states. Several states are showing interest to learn from it and implement it. So it's a matter of pride for the state of UP. Along with him, we have today an impressive line of speakers across various sectors of the um, government of UP. And at 4 p.m., we will have the keynote session by Shri Durga Shankar Mishra, who is the Chief Secretary, Government of Uttar Pradesh, and who was earlier Secretary of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in the Government of India. And he has implemented several IT uh, initiatives across various departments. So it will be another honor to listen to him. Besides him, there are various other experts from Microsoft India, Manish Gupta and Nitin Gupta, who will also be speaking on various technological aspects in governance. With this, I hand over this session to Anish Dhawanji, who is the Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India, to have a fireside chat with Shri Sanjay Reddy ji, who is ACS, Excise and Sugar Industry Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Thank you. Manish ji, over to you. Acha, before that, actually, I have forgot, and I apologize for that. I think, yes, I think, I'm sorry for that.
Before we go ahead for the fireside chat, I would request Mr. Anish Dhawan, Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India, to come and deliver a keynote address. Mr. Anish Dhawan's career journey of 2.5 decades has been with global tech companies, where he is best known for establishing anything grounds up in face of tough challenges and ambiguity. He has vast experience in equipping his customers and partners with modern tools that result in secure engagements and productivity in the face of evolving business needs, hybrid teams, and an increasingly complex threat environment fueled by present uncertainty. Three things he is passionate about are creating impact, people, and technology. Can we please have a round of applause for Mr. Anish Dhawan, Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India. Welcome, sir.
So I think I first wanted to thank everyone, right, for giving us this opportunity of having this great thought exchange. This summit is an opportunity, right, and we are starting with Future Ready at UP, which is a state now known, right, for adopting technology-driven innovation and development. I will quickly finish the keynote in the sense talking about what Microsoft has been doing. See, our internal mantra is Microsoft for India and India for Microsoft. And that is also evident from what investments Microsoft outside their global headquarters has done in India. In fact, we have 3 of our development offices running out of Noida now, right? a fairly large team does development and coding out of Noida. Now, in our last, I would say about 2.5 years, we've seen a huge adoption. I hope I am audible, right? I've seen huge adoption and agility. Uh, I would say, if I was to put it differently, there's been a stark change, and it got brought out in multiple conversations in the previous session also. Thank you so much. That makes it easier for me, right? So that came out in the session in the morning as well. That last 2.5 years, we've seen a huge change in every aspect the government has brought out, right? In engaging with customers, in applications, there's been a huge level of agility, there's a huge level of innovation that has been brought in at a speed that we've never witnessed before, right? In problem solving at scale, ensuring continuity of citizen services, and Microsoft has been deeply invested and partnered with central bodies, state bodies, and other state-owned enterprises in driving that. We've seen that technology has been in the forefront, right, of the immediate response that we wanted, right, to different problems that the organizations faced, and the resilience that was brought out in keeping the smooth continuity of the citizen services. And we are engaged, and that's not all. In fact, there's been a huge change in the way the entire governance model is being run. The national e-governance plan is a proof of that, and the way it is getting rapidly enhanced over a period of time. So Microsoft is being deeply partnering and is deeply invested in this journey. We work uh, with, like I said, with central bodies, state bodies, right, in actually helping them modernize their technical architectures, their applications, and even their engagement models, right, as we go ahead. And let me give you a few examples of that. If you pick up any of the critical verticals that we get to see, or the departments, whether it is about agriculture, whether it is energy, education, um, power, citizen services, e-governance, we've got examples in last 2 years where we've actually shown that together as partners, technology can help you really imagine almost everything. And if you just take a few examples, I know of so many states which actually used Microsoft tools to set up COVID war rooms and dashboards to actually monitor and govern the entire COVID cycle, right from tracking to diagnosing to taking care, treatment, recovery, and back to work, or return to work as we call that. All of that using Azure tools and dashboarding. The critical departments that I talked about, most of them continue to function in remote, hybrid, and on-premise fashion using few of our tools um, like Teams platform. And when they started using these tools, we saw a tremendous improvement, or I would say the reduction in cycles, time cycles, in feedback and communication between the leadership and the field, and the field and leadership, thereby coming out with more engagement models which were faster and more agile. If you talk about education, I mean, one simple example came out in the morning was the running the classrooms, virtual classrooms, so there was continued learning. But that's not all. We did enough on skilling as well, because what we could clearly see, and in fact, if you read somewhere, and when people were talking about skilling in the earlier session, by 2026, we should be having a gap of about 20 lakh digital workforce, right, for India alone. That's the estimated gap which is being looked at. So it is very important to empower the youth. So if you go to the national career site, Microsoft has brought in a lot of courses for the youth to quickly enable themselves, skill themselves, and increase their chances of employability. And that's not all. Then our partnership with LinkedIn is helping them find those opportunities as well. We partnered with multiple state governments. The recent announcement you would have seen from Mr. Jagan Reddy of AP, where as part of our skills initiative, the first batch of more than 50,000 youth who got skilled on, who got certified on different courses, actually were, that was the first milestone that came out. Similarly, we've done something in uh, government of Gujarat as well, and then something similar in Karnataka as well, and there are a few more that are coming across. So we're working to see that one, we continue on the skilling part. Two, we ensure that higher education and the primary education both, right, are taken care of. We have new engagement models coming in. We've got, so in summary, we've got the tools. You can, there will be no equivalent that you will find of Microsoft when it comes to technology, the breadth that I'm talking about, the footprint that we can help you. And the good part about that is we can help you build platform and customized services. You would have heard about National Language Translation Mission. You would have heard about eShram as a platform, registration of the labor workforce, right? All these e-Sanjeevani, all these are now built on platforms where right from the endpoint where which could be a device for you to the platform, we are able to capture the signals and bring out those intelligence insights for leaders like you to take decisions. So the whole idea is of this exchange is to tell us how can we better partner with you in your departments, respective departments, to help us as citizens much better. With that, I would like to end.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful insights that you've just shared. And I will hand it over back to you for this fireside chat on technology making industry sustainable with real-time benefits. Over to you, sir.
So with the permission. So that will be awesome. In fact, that's what my first question was for you.
Chair, who is moderating the session, my colleague, Excise Commissioner Mr. Senthil Pandian, officers from the Sugar Industry and Cane Development Department and Excise Department, delegates who are attending this Digital Governance Summit. In a way, our batch was around in the intermediate to undergraduation. We grew up with computers in India. The first computers came when Rajiv Gandhi, the then Honorable Prime Minister, introduced in the collectorate, which was a 386 server and a dumb terminal, some 10, 15 dumb terminals, which also was there in our academy when we joined. It was a new computer cell which was set up. And when I reached the UP Secretariat, that time Windows and Microsoft, this product came around 95. So it was quite interesting to work on a window platform. I was one of the first to work on it in the UP Secretariat because I was given the job to set up in the Chief Secretary's office server client mode setup with Windows and Microsoft. This is way back in 96, 97, when Mr. Mata Prasad, now is no more, was the Chief Secretary UP. Thereafter, it's no looking back. One had seen how the whole Windows platform has developed and Microsoft piggybacking on it has worked from 95 to 2000 to 2010 to 13 to 20, 21, 22. And I keep telling my officers that the post 2013 and post 2013 Excel version of the Microsoft is itself is a very powerful tool. I also keep telling that even now, majority of people in public sector and private sector, when they talk of using computers, they are basically into basic computing or basic use of computers. We have not even reached 5% of the total potential of these beautiful softwares. Uh, in many places, it's more used for editing and stuff like that. Slowly and slowly, we are using it in a big way, and we are actually using it uh, the way it should be used of managing high data, big volumes, data mining, and these new things are coming up. And with that, the artificial intelligence. My own son is into artificial intelligence and machine learning. So from him also I keep learning. I am a law graduate who did post intermediate 5-year law course. So now whatever you would be hearing would be from a law graduate's perspective, not an ITN's perspective. From desktop to laptop to tablets to mobile phones. So we have moved the whole gamut from desktop to mobility, and the technology has shown its best usage in COVID like scenario, where there was nothing else then you had this technology to depend upon. UP was one state who had decided not to close down its industry during the national lockdown, and we decided that all our 120 sugar mills would continue against the backdrop of national lockdown when everything was closed and shut down. Now, how did we do that? Because getting inputs, especially sulfur, lime, bags, PPE bags from 4 different states into UP was a difficult task. At that point of time, my small gadget was useful in getting me all these 4 raw material for my sugar mills to run. 25th was the national lockdown. 29th was the last stock we had to run the sugar mill, whether it was lime or sulfur or PPE bags, or there is a filter to filter the cane juice. And we could run it till 19th of June 2020. It was a very difficult task. Offices were closed, only I and my instrument, and I was staying in the same campus where my office is. So I was a lone soul moving from my bedroom to my office. And this phone helping me to track trucks of all these 4 inputs from Rajasthan, Haryana, UP, because West Bengal didn't budge to open up for PP bags, and from Pune. That's how it is. We have developed a software. It's a portal which is called caneup.in, and you can go and see it's a very sophisticated software portal and a software. There are 5 modules behind uh, working at the back end of this caneup.in, and all our 60 lakh farmers are connected with it, and they can see every operation round the year, starting from sowing to their survey. Every year we have to survey all our 45 to 50 lakh farmers, their plots, and see what variety they have grown, how much cane they have grown, because agriculture is a seasonal and a rotational operation. One year they have to grow cane, then for agricultural agronomical practices they have to grow paddy or wheat. So everything is done. The entire survey is digital. The transfer of data from the handheld computer device to my server is digital through the internet. From there to pre-calendar to calendar to cane slip issuance to crushing to fund transfer into his accounts. So from the time his field is surveyed to his cane is crushed and he gets the money, everything through this beautiful software. And we have an app also, so you can use it through desktop or laptop or tablet or an Android app. And let me tell you, the digital literacy in rural UP, of all my 60 lakh farmers, 45 to 46 lakh farmers are supplying cane every year. And you will be surprised that last year it was 46.45 lakh farmers, and my app downloaded is 46 plus lakhs. So each and every sugarcane farmer in UP is IT literate. Don't be under any wrong illusion कि यूपी है भैया लोगों का देश है, भैया लोगों का गांव है, सब पीछे बहुत ही पिछड़े देहाती है. No, he will show you the best use of IT. Any of my or all of my sugarcane farmer, you pick them up. Not only they, their children, their grandchildren will also tell you how sugarcane is done farming, how it is the survey is done to getting the money into their account. Everything is digital. Similarly, our excise department is coming up with a very beautiful software, track and trace. Now, what do you mean by track and trace? It means that the moment the sugar cane is crushed, juice is produced, sugar is produced, molasses is produced, or now we also make alcohol with the help of paddy or corn or potato or for that any other material where starch is available. The moment the alcohol is made or the molasses is made, produced, we track that drop till it goes. If you're a connoisseur of liquor or you take once in a while liquor, so each drop you sip is tracked. Now, how does it translate into economic terms? It translates, I'll tell you how does it translates into economic terms. Why I have to track each and every drop? Because I have to see there is no pilferage of my liquor. Duty is paid on every drop of liquor. You get the best alcohol, unadulterated alcohol. You don't get any नकली alcohol because there is a popular saying that India में red label उतना बिकता है जितना red label बनाने वाली Diageo company बनाती नहीं है. So that many bottles. And let me also tell you, if you sell your Raddi, if you drink red label and you sell your bottle to Raddi wala, don't do that. We'll send people to you who will buy at 500 rupees an empty bottle. That bottle gets recycled, right? That's the cost of that bottle. Now, how do I get the perfect liquor which is not adulterated? So for this track and trace. And let me tell you, my sugarcane app, it does a business of 35,000 to 36,000 crore rupees per annum, and that money goes into the pocket of the sugarcane farmer. Similarly, the excise software will earn, and it earns a revenue of last year on 31st March, we closed at 36,321 crore rupees. That's the revenue. Together, excise and sugarcane, it earns more than 72,000 crores. 35 to 36,000, we put it in the pocket of 45 to 46 lakh sugarcane farmers, and 36,231 crore, we have 231 crore, we had put it in the state treasury, which runs the social sector schemes and other governmental fundings. That's the gamut. I have to track both these monies, and to track such a big money and such a big transaction, let me tell you, I have to track 432 crore bottles of country liquor going into the hands of 432 crore people. It's not 432 crore. Our population is 23 crores. But I'm telling you, for the whole year, The total bottle our UP consumers buy is to a tune of 432 crore 200 ml bottle that I have to track and trace and get the revenue, an equal number of customers, which means a customer is buying every day or 4 times a week or, and so on and so forth. Similarly, I have to track 100 crores of bottles going into the hands of Indian made foreign liquor or BIS liquor, which goes into the hands of foreign liquor, my foreign liquor customers, and another 100 crore bottles of beer, which people enjoy in summer when it is hot and sultry. So that's the amount we use through this digital technology. Rest in the rapid fire question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In fact, that was so enlightening. I'm very keen to hear more. What's next for you in initiatives on sugar side as well as on the excise side?
See, actually, my understanding of IT, again, a non technical view as an administrator, as a bureaucrat, that you cannot have a perfect IT solution. You have to work incrementally. You have to keep developing, improving upon your softwares. There would be new needs, requirements of the system, of the consumer, of your stakeholder, which you have to keep addressing. So, in that way, your hardware will demand new things. Your security systems would demand new things like malwares and viruses, virus definitions, and other security systems would demand. Your back-end databases would demand. Your front-end solutions would demand. Then your apps and other things would keep demanding. So you have to continuously keep updating. Today morning only, as every Tuesday we do, uh, this we have been doing since last many years now. When we started this Smart Ganna Kisan app, SGK, we monitor every Tuesday with our field officers till 12 o'clock. We were into it, but we had other engagements. So that's how. So every day there is a new demand, either from the stakeholder, customer, consumer, government, the department itself. So we are continuously working on both these projects. The excise project is quite a big project, and there are lots of aspects into it. We are working on it, and it's quite a it would once it gets fully into its shape, it would be quite unique. And let me tell you, both these softwares have been developed in UP. No other state in India, I mean, and I say and I state with all humility at my command, no other state in India has these two softwares. Recently, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, they have come, and Tamil Nadu, and also Madhya Pradesh, they have come to UP and they have studied our sugarcane software, and their farmers have also come, their leaders have also come, sugarcane sector leaders, and they have gone and told the chief minister, we want a similar facility as UP has, a similar software as UP has. Similarly, this excise is again a very unique one, which is nowhere in India. Yes, there are some, one of our small component is being done by Delhi, but Delhi is a city state. They are not producers, they're only distributors. In UP, everything starts from raw material production to then conversion into alcohol, then alcohol to various beverages. So that's the gamut. And now we are coming up with vineyards in UP. So again, we'll have to develop so the additional components for the vineyards, which will come up. Now at the moment we have for distilleries, for breweries, we don't have for vineyards. So every type of alcohol demands a different type of treatment. So we'll keep adding modules to our existing design and architecture, and we'll keep developing it.
when we started adopting technology to bring in this transformation, and I'm sure, like you said, that you already have a home tuition on artificial intelligence and machine learning languages, right? What are the typical blockers that you saw and you envisage in future that people like us can come and help you solve it?
See, we when softwares came and IT solutions came 25 years back, government didn't had any wherewithal, so we gave it to the private sector, sugar mills, to handle it. But then they had their own problems and mafias crept into it. So in 2018, we decided to take it over back, and we did it in a decentralized manner. But then there were other architectural issues. There was no uniformity and so on and so forth. So then we decided to go for centralized software, and slowly we also learned. But post 2018 19, first year it was not a very good experience. But then when we developed a new portal altogether completely from scratch in 2019-20, then our farmers are very happy. The proof of the pudding is in eating. अगर मैं आपको कितना ही बोलो कि मैंने उसमें बादाम डाला और उसमें किशमिश डाला, काजू डाला, it will be of no meaning unless and until I give you a bowl of pudding or kheer to eat, and you try and then you say, हाँ, ये जायकेदार था. So you go, मतलब I would request some of you to go to the field and talk to the stakeholder, the farmer who is an majority of them who are illiterates, completely illiterates, and you ask them how easy it is, whether it is user friendly, can he easily use it, and how what are the advantages. He was wasting his very precious time instead of doing something productive on his farm or off his farm. He was running from office to office for cane slips, for getting his money and getting his quota fixed so that his cane is purchased and purchased on time, so that his farm gets free, so that he can sow either paddy or wheat. So instead of doing his, so the entire human resource was getting used for all non-productive activities. So all these things had benefited not only in terms of IT, in terms of comfort, in terms of he's now spending his time with his family instead of spending time in offices. So all that. Then there used to be a law and order issue. All that has solved. So there is quite a peace in the society, and people are employing themselves in much more productive work. So he is innovating now, doing new things, doing intercropping, trying to search for good markets, make more money, and stuff like that.
I think you are on point, right? We, we have, and I asked one more question, right? Because I had a timer which was blinking constantly. I just wanted to check that. So you talked a lot about the money part, and it was, I mean, the numbers were really huge, right? And running that also a digital framework. I mean, is cybersecurity a real priority for you? How are you tackling that right now?
Yeah, that's a real challenge because in 1819 we were attacked from Russia and all other Germany, uh, because our private sugar millers didn't want us to take this business from them, because by doing hanky panky they were earning a lot of money. So they use their own ways, and then we were blackmailed also. We have to pay in some cryptocurrencies. Our that time software handler had to pay ransom. He had to pay. So then we realized, so security is utmost important. Data security is utmost important for us, so that no hacking is done, no malwares are done, no such macros are run. All this is very important, because it translates into money, and I've shown you 35,000 crore for this, and to 36,000 crores. which is farmers' money, and here it is government's money. In excise, it is government's money, 36,000 crore. Their 36,000 crore is farmers' money. So last year, we had handled 72,000 crore rupees. That's more than combinedly put together many state budgets.
So, what would be your advice to technology vendors like Microsoft and there are many others, not just us, many others, when they want to engage with you, where should they come from and what should they actually approach to help you?
A technology providers are good in writing codes and designing softwares front end and back end. What they lack is the domain knowledge, and they don't want to work hard. I'm not naming any company. Why should I? If they work hard on the domain side, it would be satisfying for them as well as it would be highly satisfying for the end consumers, the immediate consumer and the end consumer, because then only they will understand the nuanced approach of or to any domain requirement. Unless and until you understand the domain requirement completely in a very nuanced manner, मोटा मोटी समझ के you pick up some retired officer here or there or retired technocrat here or there who has some domain knowledge will not work. The domain knowledge has to be complete, and a very nuanced understanding of that domain has to be there. Then only you will be able to capture the total frills of that software's requirement and the data structures requirement.
So that's a very valid and an important input for all the technology vendors. Thank you so much. And so that's very important, and I have actually noted that point, which ties back to what you were saying कि एक बार फील्ड में जाके देखो, समझो, लोगों को पूछो उनको क्या दिक्कत आ रही है, and basis that you decide how can you help. That's one of the strongest feedbacks that I've taken for us as Microsoft. We've got representatives in Uttar Pradesh and we'll try to follow that.
That would be great.
For other departments. Anything else that you want to tell us?
No, I think I'm through. Anybody has any question, I am ready to answer. My excise commissioner is also here to supplement that. Any questions? I think post lunch asking question is also a very tough thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I request Anish sir to please present a small token of appreciation to Shri Sanjay Bhusreddy, IS Additional Chief Secretary, Excise and Sugar Industry Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Can we have a huge round of applause for Sanjay sir, who has taken his time here and shared his in-depth insights about his department and the initiatives that are being taken. Thank you so much, sir, for being here this afternoon with us. Thank you. And may I request Dr. Ravi Gupta to please present a copy of the eGov magazine to Shri Sanjay Bhusreddy. A round of applause, please, for our wonderful panelists here. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon. Yes. We now move ahead to a panel discussion on next-gen technology to redesign the public service delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Shri Nitin Ramesh Kokan, IS, Principal Secretary, Housing and Urban Planning, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Sir, if you could please join us on stage and maybe have a huge round of applause for Shri Nitin Ramesh Kokan. Welcome, sir. I'd also like to welcome Shri Ranveer Prasad, IAS Commissioner, Housing Awas Evam Vikas Parishad, Lucknow Government of Uttar Pradesh. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining. A round of applause, please. Shri Kumar Vineet, IAS Managing Director, Uttar Pradesh Development Systems Corporation Limited, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. And Mr. Anish Dhawan, Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India, who will be moderating this discussion. Mr. Anish Dhawan.
Thank you so much for your time. Right. A very basic question to begin with, a fireside chat. If you could just brief us one by one, right? I mean, we could start with you, sir, right? On how has technology helped you in last 1 year, right? A quick summary would be great to start with.
Thank you. Uh, Last 1 year, I've actually looked after two different domain in the government. So, then if you would like me, I can cover both, or I can cover my current domain, whichever is.
Both will help, right? Because we are looking for ideas,
Okay.
mostly for ideas.
Okay. The earlier domain that I was looking after was in the road sector in PWD. There, essentially, there are two, three different uses of technology that we did. One is every road got almost like an Aadhaar card number. Every road in the state, whether it belonged to PWD, whether it belonged to Nagar Nigam or Development Authority. The idea was that several of now, just like now, the assembly is in session. You would get that ये सड़क यहाँ से यहाँ तक खराब है, and the file would go around various departments, nobody knowing who owns that road. So unless you have specific number and you know who the owner is and who is responsible for maintaining of those roads are nobody's babies. So that we had to first map across the entire state. Just to give you a rough idea, it's somewhere around 4 lakh kilometers of road network. It's not small. And it goes right up to each and every village in the state, right up to the various majaras. In the Nagar Nigam areas, it went up to even 500-meter, 200-meter stretches. So that is the kind of detailing that went into it. So after that, for PWD, it became very easy for us to take it on to our maps in what we called as a Srishti, which was based on a GIS platform. So that every project that we have taken for road improvement or for road maintenance or road repairs, we could then start plotting across the state. Just to give a rough idea of what PWD budgets and PWD work is, we had on an annualized basis somewhere around 30,000 crore worth of work going on in the state. I'm talking of both bridge corporation as well as road sector. And more than 65,000 projects, unique projects going across. So physically, it's not possible for any official to look at it unless you have a data-driven system which is based on technology. So that was where it helped us in our road maintenance policies, to remove inconsistencies in sanctions so that the same road doesn't get sanctioned twice. Because a lot of roads, we also came out that a lot of roads are the favorites. The same road gets sanctioned. रामू के घर से श्यामू के घर तक एक सड़क हो जाएगी, फिर श्यामू के घर से रामू के घर तक एक हो जाएगी. Nobody knows. So that kilometers and exactly what work needs to be done where started getting planned. Secondly is we started looking at throughputs and grids for forming new state highways. And that was done by the PWD where, we had these 10 square kilometer grids across the state and looked at national highways, looked at major ODRs and MDRs. And that's where roughly 3,500 kilometers of state highways were declared as state highways in one shot in 1 year. And this was geographically spread out. It's not that it is concentrated in one district. It's spread across as per a grid. And each of these has connectivities with national highways and with the major roads, wherever there are gaps with expressways and national highways. So this spatial planning, as it were, is possible only when you start looking at data on the screen and data starts talking to you on where the gaps are and where you wish to fill it. I'm just giving you these 2-3 examples to give you a broad idea of what technology makes it possible today for better delivery of services and for better planning. In my current assignment, we have what is called as Online Building Plan Approval System, OBPAS. Every major project or every project of 300 square meters and above, as you are aware, the development authorities require you to file their construction maps. There are several issues with it because first and foremost, you should know exactly where the plot is located on a geographical basis, on a GIS basis, on a platform. You should know what kind of land use it is, what kind of road width is available, what kind of urban infrastructure is available. So for this, now we have started to do something called as a GIS-based master plan. Systems are ongoing at the moment in 59 cities and major metros in the state. GIS master plans are being currently undertaken, and it's in fairly advanced stage. And my hope is that by mid of October, most of these GIS-based master plans will be available and will be available to the public. We will also have one layer where the Shazara maps, that is the plot maps, plot numbers and plot sizes all also be mapped on the GIS, so that when somebody purchases a plot, he knows exactly what the land use is. If I purchase a plot in a green belt area, naturally I can't construct. But nobody tells me that it is green belt area. Or if I construct a commercial, I want a commercial building to be constructed in a housing area, I can't do it. But that's where the initial blocks come up. So unless and until this gets mapped on a spatial basis across the state, and the building plan approval system today is what is called as an auto DCR mechanism, where you feed all this on a DCR platform and the system itself generates whether the maps need to be approved based on standardized formats, based on standardized specifications. And if there are any problems with the maps that have been submitted, it throws up the issues for rectification so that it is transparent across to the architects, to the owners, to the builders. So these are some changes which are rapidly being brought in. Technology is not technology per se, but technology is for the common man, for each and every individual. That how technology makes a difference to their lives. That is what is being looked at. Thank you.
If I could request you to help us with your experience.
Good afternoon. I would, I have just taken over as a housing commissioner, just joined. So, but I will tell you about earlier I was a relief commissioner and secretary revenue. So, I'll tell you about the journey using IT and how could we deliver in a better manner using IT tools. See, as Relief Commissioner, my office was supposed to provide benefits as under SDRF, State Disaster Relief Fund, to the victims of disaster as soon as possible. So we uh, we designed and we got implemented a end-to-end beneficiary management system, and we also uh, connected it to our Bhulek system because our most of the uh, disaster victims are farmers. Like due to excessive rains or floodings, uh, the fields get damaged, and we have to provide agriculture input subsidy. So earlier, what used to happen that there was a manual survey by our revenue officers, mainly Lekpals, and sometimes the name of the farmer and the land which he or she owns, that never used to relate. So during data entry itself, we linked it to the Bullock so that that data perfectly matches. And Aadhaar also, we got API from Aadhaar that the name also will be matching. Earlier, people used to give fake Aadhaar also, so which was not matching. So with this, we could manage deduplication. And last year, after excessive rains and floods, we managed to start distributing relief within 7 days of disaster happening. And that was a record. Earlier, it used to take months for survey and distribution. And within a short span of 1 month, we were able to distribute relief to 15.5 lakh farmers, around 600 crore rupees we could distribute. And so this time also, this year also, we had floods due to water coming from Chambal River from Rajasthan and going to Yamuna and then to Ganga. So there was water logging up to 10th to 11th September. And within 7 days from 18th, we have started distribution. And already we have distributed around 2.5 crore rupees. And next 7 to 8 days, we would finish that around 1.4 lakh farmers we shall be able to reach. So this leveraging technology, we are able to reach more beneficiaries in a very short span of time without any kind of malpractices, with a lot of transparency. So that was one major thing we were able to achieve. In another thing, adding to what Sir has said about GIS-based map, Revenue Department has decided to georeference all the cadastral maps of all revenue villages. Around 1 lakh plus revenue villages are there in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So all of these maps will be georeferenced. So now, and each gata number will be allotted a unique ID based on the geographical coordinates of the points of the contour. So that will be unique. So it will make identifying any land uniquely available, uniquely. You don't need to know even the gata number because of geographical coordinates, it will be unique throughout the state and not only state, throughout the country. So that step within say 6 to 7 months, that is the work has started and that is going to happen. These two things are major things I think we are leveraging IT. Third thing I just started in Chakbandi, consolidation, and maybe later part of the question I will develop on that. Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot to mic myself. We need you, the IT arm for the state. What has been your experience in last 2 years in providing the technology support to various departments?
Thanks, Anish. Thank you so much. Thanks to Dr. Ravi that he has brought Elets for this feature of the summit. Well, Anish, before I answer to your question, before I come exactly to what you have asked for, let me introduce to you a pseudo name, that is Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto has got nothing to do with Nokia, it has got nothing to do with Motorola or anything. It is a blockchain technology inventor, a pseudonym that happened 10 years back. And what we don't know whether that person is he or she or a community or a company or whatever, but that particular invention of blockchain, which is the bedrock of all the storage devices all over the world, all the process that is existent over here. Similar is the case with the IT department in Uttar Pradesh. We are the bedrock of all the IT interventions across the departments which are happening. Either Abhinithan sir ne jo discuss kiya, even that has a bedrock of IT department, or Chakbandi also had the same. So as organization of UP Disco, we are into the software as a service. Of course, along with that, we are into some technical, some keynote infrastructure of also of Uttar Pradesh that we are taking care of. Let me name a few. First is CM Helpline. Yes, we discuss about the experience that we had in the last 2 years over here. Particularly when we talked about the COVID era, and we talked about the whole future ready are we, about the digital readiness that we have and the technological interventions that we have. So all the different type of inputs that we can have regarding maybe a complaint, maybe a review, maybe a response to any of the activities, or any data analytics that we'd like to have. So CM Helpline has been very effective on that. All the 7 or 8 or 10 types of inputs come together to one particular mechanism. It may be through a telephone, it may be just through a letter or an email or a one-to-one interaction, or whatever the case may be. It comes to a particular process, and that platform is Helpline. It is integrated on a IT platform. On the back end of it, there are all departments integrated to it, working beautifully. At the time of peak, let me tell you, we had more than 80,000 outbound calls or more than 50,000 inbound calls daily. It may be about oxygen supply, it may be about anything else. So that was the impact of what should I say, the IT platform with respect to one of the key agency that we were managing, and that particular helpline has won accolades. It has been recognized all over India in this modus operandi, the way it has come out to be. Even the direct benefit transfer, or whatever the support mechanism that we may have, that is through that. Second is the critical data that we have, the data center, which we are trying to upgrade it, we are trying to have it, all the direct benefit transfers, all the important issues that are coming up with. So we may talk about anything. We may talk about, say, common service centers, or e-Ganna, as Mr. was just discussing, or e-mining, or you just come to any of the discussion you have, and the backend platform or backend idea beneath is IT sector which we are into. So second part is that what IT department is doing into that. So we have three basic accolades. One is policy intervention, where we're trying to bring in as many policy interventions in terms of the startup ecosystem, be it in electronics manufacturing, or be it what should I say, IT industries, or electronic industries, manufacturing industries, or data center, whatever it may be. So we've got different types of policies, the interventions are there. So it is because the government is ultimately a facilitator of services, a facilitator of ecosystem that has to come up. So in that way, this ecosystem is building up. In the last 2 years, it has come up in a very big way. Coming back to the data center policy or data center thing that we have just discussed, because India has just got 2% of storage of what we actually generate. The amount of data that we generate, entire world is approximately 18 to 20% of the data of the world, and we just have 2% of it that is actually stored in India. And of course, in Uttar Pradesh, it was even less. So now this ecosystem that has developed in Uttar Pradesh is definitely going to help, not just in employability of the scenario, but also it will develop an ecosystem in the entire state. We are coming with edge data centers concept also, so that we will come up with our VDC policy, with the African Union policy, which can just propping up the entire facade of this environment of IT in Uttar Pradesh. So if I look into the future, then yes, infrastructure as a service, because recently we have all heard that the national logistics policy is just being declared during the Prime Minister. So infrastructure as a service is what we are looking forward to in this way. So to conclude, yes, software as a service, we are into it. Policy interventions, government is there in a big way. And of course, in the last 2 years, this intervention has really helped the entire state to keep running and living. Thank you.
Thank you. I know, Mr. Gopan, you got to leave, so I'll just ask my last question to you, right? What are the next two initiatives or three initiatives that you're planning for your department? You mentioned the spatial mapping, right, and the GIS part. Apart from that, and how can, or if you see any blockers, right, to what you're thinking right now, how can technology partners like Microsoft combine us together, right, come and help you achieve that faster?
I think I'll take off from where what was mentioned on blockchain technology. UP has recently brought out the transferable development rights policy, wherein you can have purchasable FAR. That will lead to densification in major corridor areas, specifically in what is called as transit-oriented development, wherever you have major MRTS projects, just like a metro. If around 500 meters on both sides of the metro line or metro stations, it leads to densification, you need to buy and sell FAR. So that is the policy which has come up. We are looking at blockchain technology in order to be the repository of all these transactions in terms of purchasable FAR and who is the owner of what specific FAR category. So it will be very difficult for anybody to keep filing and seeing each transaction, how it has progressed, and to have its fidelity intact as to whether it is actually genuine or otherwise. So that will help. Also, we will now be looking at spatial availability of FARs as well across the city. Which particular place has got what FAR, that will now come as part of a master plan. The second important thing is now we are looking at a Lucknow Kanpur state capital region to be made, which has been recently announced by the Honorable CM. For this particular purpose, we are not looking at regulatory mechanism, but we are looking at technology-driven smart solutions, plus an environmentally sustainable model which has got elements of economy also brought in. So we are looking at not spatial planning, but economic planning and environmental sustainability. To give you a small example, like what's happened in Bangalore. You have cut down on all the drainage lines and constructed on it. You've gone and constructed on lakes, and then you expect that flooding doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in nature. So unless and until you have plans which lead to an environmentally sustainable option, where all these natural drainage lines are shown, people don't construct on them. And if somebody has already constructed, give them the option of purchasable FAR, and they can go and settle elsewhere, and those drainage lines can be cleared up. Things like that. Some of these ideas are still in the anvil, and we are holding an urban planning conclave here in Lucknow on the 23rd, 24th. You are most welcome to attend it and give us your technology solutions also for it. Thank you.
Sure. With that,
So much, sir. And my request, Mr. Anish Dhawan, to please present this small token of appreciation to Mr. Nitish Ramesh Kokan, Principal Secretary, Housing and Urban Planning, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Thank you, sir, for taking out time from a busy schedule and coming here to be with us. Thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause, please? Thank you, sir. We would have loved to hear you more, but we understand that there is work calling. So thank you, sir. Thank you. So back to Mr. Dhawan to continue the discussion forward. Thank you.
so while this is going to be a fireside chat, I would just change the format as well, given that there are three of us, right? So you could ask your questions as well, right? It's not, don't let it only be me. Any area that you feel that we are in a position to answer or we should be able to answer, do fire it at us. Right? So let me just taking notes along with that. So I'll come back to you, sir, Vinitji, right? In coming years, right, what we've seen across states is that there have been change of engagement models in how even IT companies are working. Some of them are working now as partners. Some of them have built, frameworks along with various government departments, right? How do you see the whole industry now engaging in partnership with you going forward in UP state? Are there any thoughts? Are there any discussions that have happened in that direction?
Yes, so very rightly said that industry is looking forward how to engage. The modus operandi of engagement per se with the state government in the last couple of months, I would say, I would not even say years, I would say months, it has come up in a very sharp trajectory. I would like to mention that. Because now I see that many of the international brands or companies or solutions, they do come up for an interaction with a partner. And that partner is infrastructure will be laid out, the non-IT infrastructure will be laid out with someone else, and the IT infrastructure will come up with someone else. And they together come up with something tangible. And that is why I mentioned, if you maybe remember that now even government of UP is thinking of having infrastructure as a service. I'm not interested in getting whether it is a GMP compliance or this and that. All the norms are defined for the government of India, the MIT and the Pradesh, they are all defined. So now we want a solution from the service providers, and that service providers may be Microsoft or anyone else. I don't like to name because they are already competitors. So
That's okay.
so in that way, it will be nice to be, for example, Infosys is coming up with a knowledge partner. So Chitra is also here, I just outside.
Yes,
So
she was around.
Microsoft is also coming up with your own knowledge-based solution to one of the very ambitious programs that government of Pradesh is taking up, that is standard smartphone. Because we're not just distributing the devices, we are coming up with something in a packet, and that packet is that student has the ability to gain knowledge, not just knowledge, but to increase its employment. It's a level of situation so that once they come out of their graduation or their any skill development, their employment is definitely on a higher side. So perhaps Microsoft is also coming up with such a solution, and we are really looking forward to that we may have something tangible out of it. So this is the way in which various organizations are coming up. They are coming up on their own. They're coming up through some certain partners. But then this is an ecosystem that we would really like to develop, because nothing works in a silo. If you develop something and unless and until you come up and we share together and bring up a solution to the people that who are really going to take it up. So it has to be government to government or government to citizen. Ultimately, the citizen-centric services that we generally talk of, and the background that is behind it, that is very important. Generally talk about the common service centers, e-mining and e-office, if you want to move the files, so e-tendering, this and that, and whatnot, so many things. But these are all the end results of it. What we are talking about, what is behind these end results, and that is the fusion of so many knowledge partners coming up with government in a very, very positive way. This is what I am actually looking for. And how to partner with this industry is definitely a big challenge, because we are in a government system. Now, just to give an example, I was just there in one of the other conferences. So there are so many startup ecosystems in India. Maybe 7,000 startups are here in Uttar Pradesh. Now, every startup has a unique idea, and that unique idea cannot survive in the competitive bidding system.
Sure.
So that idea, how do we plug in that idea, absorb and assimilate in our own system, and give something that is deliverable?
Sure.
That is the idea, that is the process or mechanism that we are yet thinking of how it can be developed. Maybe Telangana has got something on that, and we might just think of emulating them on that. We are already in discussions with the Fiscal Secretary of that, how they are going to develop that. So that is something very tangible that we are really looking for. For example, if I talk about Microsoft, we are coming up with an educational solution. Now, that education solution is something that is unique to you. And everything that is unique to an organization cannot come for free. Nothing comes for free. So how that particular tangible solution can be optimized on a monetary part and be assumed or what should I say, absorbed in the government system, that is what we are really thinking of. And that is what really we try to get into, or if I would say in one word, that how to get into a strategic relation with a knowledge partner is what Uttar Pradesh government is also thinking.
Got it. So, Ranveer Prasad ji, picking up from there, right? And I was just making notes from your previous role, right? I was just thinking, how can technology play a role in predicting and taking preventing measures, right, to the disasters that we just talked about?
See, the like if I talk about Uttar Pradesh, the biggest hazard which we face is floods and that of rains. So due to climate change phenomena, now we have more unpredictable rains, irregular monsoons, rainfall when we least expect it. So we need to have more predictive capabilities so that at least 4 to 5 days in advance we know. So there is something called Doppler radars, which IMD deploys. So recently, the government of Uttar Pradesh has decided to set up 5 more Doppler radars. So that will give a very in-depth knowledge about the movement of clouds, etc. Because of that. So that will improve the disaster prediction capability. Then there has been decision has been taken to install automatic weather station in each of the tehsils and automatic rain gauges in each of the blocks. Now that they will give data every 10 to 15 minutes to a central server, and it will be passed on a video wall. So you would have a fair bit of knowledge about temperature, wind speed, and rainfall happening. And that would also, this much data would be useful in predicting, in fine-tuning the model, weather model which IMD has. This connection, I would like to also uh, uh, add that there is a lot of scope for this prediction in the private sector also, because that this data would ultimately, in fact, a lot of data is available in public domain about past disasters, rainfalls, etc. Now anybody can build a model based on AI on that and start doing a citizen driven this weather service. This had happened recently in Chennai, I think, where using social media and all, there was a group which was predicting rainfall more accurately than even the IMD. So that is there is a lot of scope for that. In fact, there are some big companies doing that, but I think even smaller companies, smaller people like startup can flourish on that. There's a lot of talk about climate change resilient infrastructure, disaster resilient infrastructure. So for that, you need to have information about risks. Like anybody wants to set up a project infrastructure needs to know what kind of hazards face the area. So for that, the using past data and all, people can develop hazard modeling systems in which they can inform private sector. Even now government is planning for that, to have a this hazard awareness using special with a special information, but that will take some time. But private sector can do it right away, and there is a lot of information available in public domain also. Regarding a special thing, I would advise, give an advice about the software which is available now. Like most of the most used software is Excel spreadsheet. It can be made spatially aware, geospatial aware. It's not like now you give a table, it generates a chart. It's like so similarly, given a table, it should generate a spatial map. If that capability is built inbuilt, so that will give a lot of push to making information geospatially aware. In another thing which I would like to add from my side about which I, as a when a Chakbandi commissioner, consultation commissioner, wanted to digitize Chakbandi end to end. Because see, consolidation operation is like when you have one farmer has lot of land holdings in a village in different parts, and you bring it to one place so that his productivity is increased. Overall, agriculture production is increased. Consolidation operation has been undertaken in Europe also, many countries of the world, and likewise in Uttar Pradesh. It was a means of land reform, but I wanted to do it make it as a means of land planning, and that is what its future is. Because of lot of fragmentation, lot of successors, so lot of fragmentation there now, and we need to bring in new projects. For that, we need to land. That can happen through land planning. So I was surprised that we do not have a software to do land consolidation. In fact, I searched not only in India but globally available. It is still in like a drawing board stage or something like in research stage. So I think if somebody does work on that land planning, which is see what Microsoft Office did, making this very useful software available to masses. There are other software also, not only of Microsoft, other company also, which is basically focused on making it available to masses who are not very tech savvy, but still they can use it. So that capability should now be brought to for this geospatial planning, land use planning, so that in government sector, lot of departments can get on board this new phenomena in which everything has to be GIS aware to make it more meaningful. Thank you.
Got it. So, Vinny, what is your vision, right, or steps the government is taking to ensure that technology reaches the remotest part of Uttar Pradesh, given the size of the state as of now?
Yeah, we have a huge size, but just I would like to mention your success story of your company. So Microsoft, it came up with Office solution, MS Office, be it Excel, data analytics, be it Office, be it print typing, be it anything. So that is a solution that came in and became a household activity. Similarly, we have got a one of the intervention that has actually to happen at the ground level is reach of technology. So when you really want to have a reach of information, you need an interface, and that interface is either tablet or smartphone or laptop or whatever. It has to be banked upon by connectivity. So if I say there are 58,000 approximately villages in India, in Gram Panchayats in Uttar Pradesh, out of which approximately 47,000 are already with the 4G connectivity, and on a very fast space, the BharatNet activity is coming up, and we are going to have optical fiber cable at each and every village. That is what we are aiming at. Second is availability of the service at the citizen doorstep. So for that, again, we need efficient service delivery mechanism at the doorstep, at the panchayat level. So an idea is coming up that all these services, all the government to citizen-centric services that can be delivered at the doorstep, if that can be through a common service center which is available in the panchayat itself. So Panchayat Raj is coming up with a very ambitious program of delivering this entire concept of reaching the mass in one way and the mass reaching out to the government the other way, a two-way mechanism at panchayat level, where you have a hardware system installed over there, a Wi-Fi area connected to that particular place so that people get connected, and that is one part. Now, third is what UP Desco is doing. So there is one very ambitious scheme that we all know, Swami Vivekanand Tablet Smartphone Yojana, which is going for the next 5 years. We had a pilot in the last year, and it was very successful, and we are going to continue it. The government is going to continue it again in the next 5 years, and that is that we will enable each and every student post his class 12th and enrolled in any of the courses, be it MBBS, BTech, MA, BA, PhD, whatever. That is one part. Even skill development, not just ITI or something, skill development missions, a 15-day or 100-day or 30-day skill development missions like carpentry and everything, they are also covered with this process. So how does government enter into it? It is not just giving the device, because we are also giving a two-way interaction. One is that we have given the device, enabled an environment and ecosystem all around where the devices can be used by the person to increase their employability and their educational content. Second is we push the educational content through these devices, through these so that they may reach the person in a big way where they are aware, even sitting in the remote area of a Basti or any other village in Balia, and just having a net connectivity and a device in their hand. One device enables the entire family. So one device in their hand, so they can resort to e-Ganna also, they can resort to educational content also, they can come up with the so many educational content that are being created by the departments. Recently, Bhashini is also coming up, you might be aware of. So all the educational contents are being created in a very, very big way by Government of India. In another 2, 3, 4 years, this is going to be one of the biggest online repository of information, of knowledge anywhere in the world. So that is also going to be there. So you have all the paraphernalia, but just to give accessibility to this paraphernalia is what this particular scheme is all about. Enabling. It is not just giving a device to use it the way you want to. It is enabling, coaxing every time, pushing some information, some message about employability, some message about education that you may 10 बार लिंक इधर उधर करेगा, एक लिंक तो एजुकेशन पे करेगा, एक लिंक तो वो किसी न किसी एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी के उस पे करेगा, सोर्स पे करेगा, एंड डाटा इज रियली चीप, filthy cheap. So that is what we are banking upon. Fourth thing, new technology, 5G coming up. Uttar Pradesh is one of the pioneers in this particular field, where we are trying to get this 5G in our state as one amongst the first. Perhaps Varanasi might be one of the first districts in India where 5G rollout is going to come up. We are coming up with all the infrastructure facilitations as government to create this environment where this entire concept breathes in. And so in this entire ecosystem of what I mentioned, one is employability, second is enabling the student, third is creating an ecosystem, and ultimately the use of it. So this entire process is going to lead the entire population of Uttar Pradesh in a way where we can develop into a different developed nation, because ultimately our aim, as we all must have heard of it, is Honorable Chief Minister said that we want to be a 1 trillion economy. And recently we just had a conference where Honorable Prime Minister was also here, and we had 80,000 crores of investment coming up here. And out of that 80,000 crores, let me mention you and proudly mention you, 25,000 crores came from IT sector. Again, we are trying to target in January another meet where international investments are going to come up. We are going for road shows and everything, and like so called and so forth. And we target that at least 10 lakh crores may come up, an investment in the next 5 years. Only then we can have a 1 trillion economy infrastructure coming up. Now, for that infrastructure to come up, industries like you need to be there. For industries like you need to be there, and you and me, means when I say me, I mean the government, not Kumar Vani, but the government. And when I say you, then I mean the entire IT fraternity that is coming up, the technical part is coming up. And Dr. Ravi is here and his team is here, and they are here to make us come on the same table to sync up and get the entire ecosystem developed. So if I talk about Uttar Pradesh, we have an ecosystem already in Noida for manufacturing of mobiles. 45% of the Indian production is there in Noida. But that is not the only thing that we are trying to scale at. Now, in Yamuna Authority, we are trying to have a electronics manufacturing goods coming up. About 10,000 acres of land, 1,000 acres के 2 या 3 plots हम लोग कर रहे हैं, where 1,000 acre dedicated to a particular project. of ecosystem where developers can come in, government of India will also pitch in, and that is coming up. Third is what we are trying to target is the semiconductor industry as well. Not the manufacturing, fab is a huge thing, but of course the labs that can come up. And that is easy, what should I say, easier flow to plug in. So that is what we are trying to, and we are not just confined to one particular region. We are also going into Bundelkhand, where defense is coming up. We are also going into medtech, where we are sitting in Lucknow. Lucknow now, Kanpur area is going to come up in a medtech region. Agriculture in a big way, we are coming up in Varanasi, where agriculture inputs are coming up in a very big way. So in this way, I would like to conclude that Uttar Pradesh has its technological policy interventions. We are trying to reach the industry time and again, and industry is thankfully coming us with their demands, their needs, and we are trying to cater to them. So I hope that we reach our 1 trillion economy goal as well, as our Honorable Chief Minister has envisaged upon. And in days to come, there will be a very beautiful ecosystem coming up in Uttar Pradesh.
Thank you so much, sir. Very quick question. During the time of disasters, the key role is played by the first responders, right, who immediately reach the site and do that. What did you see was missing in your experience for these first responders to be more productive from what they were right now, from a technology perspective, that could have helped them better? I'm again picking on your older experience.
See, disasters come in many forms. I would talk about COVID. It was suddenly out of blue. Something happened in other part of the world and struck us. And the first crisis which we faced was this movement of migrants in large numbers. So that time lockdown was in place, and people were not aware how dangerous this COVID is. So now they were put in different kinds of different quarantine centers and all. Now to record their information immediately and then make that available to headquarters so that resources can be planned for their food, the funds can be arranged. Now, I thought that if they are more now we have handheld devices that can be made more ubiquitous, everybody. So the first thing is to record information about the victims, those who are in, so that necessary relief can be made available to them. Now we have this Aadhaar-based system, payment system and all. So if their information comes online, then other things can follow very easily because the DVT system is very secure. So that I found was could have been more useful. But in terms of technology, this, if you leave aside IT, there are other things which are quite necessary and which I think we are planning for that, and we will do it in near future. Like the majority of the deaths which we found is due to drowning. If you see, state government declared drowning as a state disaster. It was identified, it was a hazard, but it was not identified and recognized as a disaster. So the one benefit was that those who die by drowning, their family members get no relief from the state government. But what we found that it's a major, one of the major causes of death. Now to save people from drowning, like for example, in one incident in Ayodhya, 9 members of a family were washed away. They were taking bath. So now we are planning this on Ayodhya Ghat, a full-fledged rescue center in which remote control bars and floating jetties, etc., can be made available, and high-speed boats. For example, between life and death, it's a matter of few seconds, 5 seconds. So somebody is drowning, the person has to reach within 5 seconds. Otherwise, it will not matter after that. So that kind of technology we are now planning to deploy the action plan is ready. So the rescue equipments can be more high tech. But talking about technology, some technologies sometimes it looks that it will be very useful, but it is not so useful. Like there were satellite phones have been purchased. It is with us also. For 5 years, not a single call. We did not find it useful to make even a single minute call. We had subscription and all. So it will envisage earlier that okay, there will be remotely inaccessible locations where there shall be no this mobile signals. But there is no place now in Uttar Pradesh where you have.
And then you're getting 5G also.
No, he's talking about 5G. So sometimes technology, sometimes we overdo also. And but what we lack in disaster, like now we are raising three companies in our state disaster response force, which will be equipped with NCBM, nuclear, chemical, and biological kind of disaster to handle currently. They will have technology for that, handling that. So that kind of things are that kind of things we are supplementing. Regarding IT, this basic, again I will repeat the basic tools of onboarding a system at field level. Now still they note it down on the newspaper and come to, he was talking about educational, lot of educational content. We have all have gone through studying through in classrooms and all. There's a lot of content available on e-platforms, lot of content. How many people are able to access that? Is it available in easily accessible format? Still we prefer hiring a tutor and getting taught from that. Still that e-content which is available is not very is in a format which is time saving. Like suppose you start watching a video, it will take you 2 hours, which you can learn in a text-based format in say 5 minutes. So if the video creator may think that the person who is going to learn it is very like at a basic level, but the person who is watching the video may not be at that level. How to fulfill that gap? So that challenge is there. Make it available. Like in smart city, we had a lot of e-content. We thought we'll make it available to our poor students who is in the municipal area. Now, how to make Wi-Fi available to them? How to make internet available to them? That was a challenge. Data is not so cheap nowadays. Earlier it was quite cheap, but it is not so cheap nowadays. So those kind of the last mile connectivity, I think that IT companies can work on that and making the data, which we have now lot of data available, content available on servers, how to make it, deliver it easily to the public at large. I think that is one of the biggest challenges.
So I've had the opportunity of having conversations with leaders like you in other states as well. One thing which came out very regularly across states was data governance. Collection of data, aggregating that at the panchayat level, then district level, and taking it up, and the time it takes finally to reach headquarters where some intelligent decisions can be taken. Their ask was that, how can we make it seamless and faster? Right now in some cases, जैसे मैं हीरा लाल जी से सुबह बात कर रहा था तो वो बोल रहे थे हमारे यहाँ तो ऑफलाइन कलेक्ट होता है अभी. Some of the departments have been able to put systems in place where all of that can be done together. For example, with CBDT, we did something similar, right? Where data at field level gets aggregated in such a way that right up to the top can see the data in one go itself. There are no, barriers or stages in between of aggregation. It gets aggregated together. My question to you is that the case in some of the departments or mostly here? And the second thing, while we may have best of the strategies, one of the defining parameters for any strategy is the culture of adoption, right? And I see you as a big role player, right, in changing the culture of entire state and the way people think. Your thoughts on both of this?
Thank you so much. Actually, I had the privilege of attending one of the national conference and representing my state जो भी अहमदाबाद में हुआ था गुजरात में, ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर केम इनटू इट. That was for the first time when I actually realized what is Amrit Mahotsav and Amrit Kal. So what you are talking about is Amrit Kal. अमृत काल में हम इन सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज को इंटरवेंशंस के साथ ले आए और उनको डेवलप करें.
Can we please welcome the Honorable Chief Secretary Shri Durga Shankar Mishra ji, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Can we have a round of applause, please?
So what we're talking about, the data analytics and the data taking of the events. So the Abhijit's department को sir was heading, revenue department. We already have that in it. जो हमारा the biggest input that happens in the agriculture system is land records. One is land records, other is khasra. कौन सी seeds बोई गई, कहाँ पर बोई गई, what are the analytics, how you can develop into it. That is coming up through a device in a seamless way. In the coming years, you are going to see Uttar Pradesh going to be a leader into it. Second is health activities. All the health inputs, be it Anganwadi, be it other activities, they are already there into it, they are being enabled. And that system, that ecosystem is going to be in a big way in Uttar Pradesh again. Of course, the medical infrastructure, which is being driven by Government of India, is already there. So, and as you said, your tagline is also that make hybrid learning come to life. That is exactly what is happening in Uttar Pradesh also, that we are coming up with so many organizational skills and development activities coming up together to make Uttar Pradesh a better place. Over to you.
Thank you so much. With that, we will bring it to an end. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you to the esteemed panelists for this wonderful and insightful discussion that we've just heard. And may I request Dr. Ravi Gupta, CEO and Editor-in-Chief, eGov and Digital Learning Magazine, to please come on stage and present a small token of appreciation to our esteemed panelists here. Can we have a round of applause for our esteemed panelists? May I request Dr. Ravi Gupta to present this appreciation memento to Sri Ranveer Prasad, IAS Commissioner, Housing, Awas Evam Vikas Parishad, along with Mr. Anish Dhawan, Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. May I also request Mr. Anish Dhawan and Dr. Ravi Gupta to present this small token of appreciation to Sri Kumar Vineet, IAS Managing Director, Uttar Pradesh Development Systems Corporation Limited, Government of Uttar Pradesh. May I also request Dr. Ravi Gupta to present this small token of appreciation to Mr. Anish Dhawan, Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India. And may I request the panel to please pose for a group photograph. Thank you so much to our esteemed panelists, and ladies and gentlemen. We've had an amazing day where, we've had discussions and deliberations ranging from developments in education to the digital governance, where Microsoft has been the sponsors of this event that is happening today, where we have seen technology innovations being used across the state of Uttar Pradesh, and we've had representation from across the state, where we've heard various initiatives being taken across the length and the breadth of the state. We are now moving ahead to a very special guest this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands to give a rousing welcome to Sri Durga Shankar Mishra, Chief Secretary, Government of Uttar Pradesh, for his keynote session on digital governance for a resilient future, along with Mr. Anish Dhawan, Chief Operating Officer, Public Sector, Microsoft India. May I request Sri Durga Shankar Mishra, Chief Secretary, Government of Uttar Pradesh, to please join us on stage. Can we have a huge round of applause?
It's our honor and a privilege to have the Honorable Chief Secretary of Government of UP with us. Sir has been secretary at Mahua, which is the Ministry of Urban and Housing Affairs, Government of India, and the number of initiatives and urban reforms, and including a smart city mission, his leadership and guidance, which has transformed the whole urban sector in India. And we are seeing the steps like housing for all and urban development missions across the country, Amrit mission across the country, and also IT urban initiatives which are happening across the country are like all have like happened under his tremendous leadership and guidance. So uh, uh, I welcome him, and we are deeply honored that he has agreed to deliver the keynote address here. So without much ado, I will request the Honorable Chief Secretary, Government of UP, Shri Durga Shankar Mishra ji, to deliver keynote address of this event. So,
Ravi Gupta ji, President of Elets, and the whole team, Mr. Anish Dhawan ji, Chief Operating Officer of Microsoft Public Sector Wing, my colleagues in the government, Ranveer Prasad and Kumar, and आज के इस कार्यक्रम में आज के इस कार्यशाला में भाग ले रहे तमाम सारे साथियों, मैं तो हिंदी में बात करता हूँ। रवि जी, आपको मालूम है मैं अंग्रेजी वहीं प्रयोग करता हूँ जहाँ पे हिंदी नहीं जानने वाले हैं, और यहाँ सारे लोग हिंदी जानने वाले हैं, इसलिए मैं हिंदी में ही बात करूँगा, चाहे आपकी कार्यशाला अंग्रेजी में हो या हिंदी में हो। मैं सबसे पहले तो रवि जी को इस बात के लिए धन्यवाद भी देता हूँ, बधाई भी देता हूँ कि एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर आपने चर्चा रखी है, और वो विषय है फ्यूचर रेडी इंडिया, द डिजिटल गवर्नेंस, फ्यूचर रेडी इंडिया। ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विषय है, और मैं उस पर फोकस करूंगा फ्यूचर रेडी उत्तर प्रदेश, क्योंकि आज हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश की राजधानी में आप ये वर्कशॉप कर रहे हैं, तो कैसे हमारा प्रदेश फ्यूचर रेडी है। फ्यूचर रेडी फॉर व्हाट? फ्यूचर रेडी फॉर डेवलपमेंट, जो कि एक लक्ष्य रखा माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कि हम 2047 में जब आज़ादी का 100 साल मना रहे होंगे तो एक विकसित देश हो, यानी दुनिया की, विश्व की जो तमाम सारे देशों की श्रृंखला है उसमें हम काफ़ी आगे होंगे। अभी हाल में आपने देखा होगा कि हमारी इकोनॉमी, भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था 6ठे स्थान पे थी दुनिया में, हम 5वें स्थान पर पहुंच गए। और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जब हम 2047 का 100वां साल मना रहे होंगे तब तक हम दुनिया की दूसरी या तीसरी अर्थव्यवस्था बन चुके होंगे। जिस प्रकार से हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था का एक आमूल चूल परिवर्तन हो रहा है, जिस प्रकार से पूरी अर्थव्यवस्था को एक उसके लिए विंग्स उसको प्रोवाइड किए जा रहे हैं, तो हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था दुनिया की दूसरी या तीसरे नंबर की व्यवस्था होगी 2047 की, और हम एक विकसित देश होंगे। उसके लिए फ्यूचर रेडी, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने टारगेट रखा 5 साल में $5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी का। हमारा उत्तर प्रदेश, हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने लक्ष्य रखा है कि $1 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी अगले 5 साल में हासिल करेंगे, और ये बहुत कठिन लक्ष्य है, इतना आसान नहीं है, क्योंकि आज की डेट में हम लगभग 240-45 बिलियन डॉलर की हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था उत्तर प्रदेश की, और हम इसे 4 गुना करेंगे अगले 5 साल में। और ये करने के लिए हमें एक आमूलचूल परिवर्तन, हर अर्थव्यवस्था के हर अंग को, हमारी ज्योग्राफी के हर क्षेत्र को, उसको विकास के धर्रे में डालना पड़ेगा, कि जिससे हम इस प्रकार के विकास जिसमें 25% का हम ग्रोथ कर सके, ऐसा कर सकते हैं। कुछ जगहों पे, बहुत थोड़े जगहों पे हुआ है, ऐसा आज तक किसी प्रदेश ने, किसी देश ने नहीं किया। उस असंभव लक्ष्य को हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने रखा है, हम उसे पूरा कर सकते। बट लक्ष्य केवल अर्थव्यवस्था को 4 गुना करना, 2 गुना करना लक्ष्य नहीं है। मूल लक्ष्य है लोगों की जिंदगी को आसान करना, ईज ऑफ लिविंग, जिससे कि हर नागरिक, हर भारतीय नागरिक अपनी क्षमता के मुताबिक जो उसको भगवान ने शक्ति दी है, जो उसको ताकत दी है, जो उसमें क्षमताएं दी है, उन क्षमताओं को पूरी तरह से प्रयोग करके अपने लिए, अपने परिवार के लिए, अपने समाज के लिए, अपने शहर के लिए, अपने गांव के लिए, अपने प्रदेश और देश के लिए बेस्ट से बेस्ट, जो सबसे अच्छी चीजें उसको उपलब्ध कर सके, ये लक्ष्य है। यानी जब ईज ऑफ लिविंग हो जाती है तो फिर उसको इधर उधर तमाम से जगह भटकना नहीं पड़ता है। उसी प्रकार से ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस, जो हमारा काम है, जिस प्रकार के भी काम हो, चाहे वो जैसी जरूरत पड़ती हो, चाहे बिजनेसमैन को, चाहे किसान को, चाहे हमारे जो फैक्ट्रीज में जो लोग हैं, सबको उनका जो बिजनेस है वो काम बिल्कुल आसान हो जाए, जिससे कि चीजें स्मूथली चले। ये हमारा लक्ष्य है। मूल लक्ष्य तो है लोगों की जिंदगी को सुधार करना, और जब हम सुधार करेंगे तो उससे हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था इतनी गुनी बड़ी बेहतर हो जाएगी। आपको पता है कि हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में हमने इस पर बहुत तेजी से काम चालू किया, और वही पूरे देश में, जैसा रवि जी बता रहे थे, अर्बन सेक्टर के बारे में मैं लगभग 4 साल 7 महीने में भारत सरकार का सचिव रहा, उसके पहले भी लगभग 3 साल में एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी था। इसमें इतनी सारी माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में, उनके निर्देशन में इतने सारे काम पूरे देश की अर्बन एरिया को परिवर्तित करने के लिए हो रहा था, जिसके नतीजे लोगों को दिखने चालू हो गए। ये है फ्यूचर रेडी होना, कि जो परिवर्तन हो रहा है वो तैयार कर रहा है, एक नई जमीन तैयार कर रहा है, जिससे कि आप आगे उस काम को कर सकें। आपने स्मार्ट सिटी की बात की। स्मार्ट सिटी क्या है? जो शहर है, उस शहर को स्मार्ट कैसे बनेगा? स्मार्टनेस का मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि वहाँ पे कोई स्मार्टनेस का मतलब कोई नई चीज वहाँ बने। स्मार्टनेस का मतलब ये हुआ ईज इन डूइंग थिंग्स, ईज इन लिविंग। जो सबसे मूल लक्ष्य है कि शहर हमारा लोगों की जिंदगी को आसान कर दे, जिससे शहरी, जो शहर के जो नागरिक हैं, वो नागरिक अपने काम को बेहतर से बेहतर तरीके, चाहे उनको शिक्षा हो, स्वास्थ्य हो, इंटरटेनमेंट हो, रोजगार हो, हर चीज में उनको आसान हो। ये लक्ष्य है हमारा स्मार्ट सिटी का, उसका असर पड़ा है। जो जहाँ जहाँ पे स्मार्ट सिटी, जो 100 शहर तो स्मार्ट सिटी बनी रहे हैं, साथ ही साथ और तमाम सारे शहरों पे जब सड़कें हों तो सड़कें इतनी अच्छी हों, जो स्मार्ट रोड किसको कहेंगे, जिसमें चलने में आपको, जो हमारा पैदल भी चलने वाला है, जो साइकिल से चलने वाला है, यानी नॉन मोटराइज ट्रांसपोर्ट है, सबके लिए सुविधा हो। वहाँ पे जो तार न लटके हो, वहाँ पे पोल ऐसे न हो, वहाँ पे लोगों को अगर कोई जगह जगह वहाँ पे बैठने के लिए जो आपकी बेंचेस भी हो, हरियाली भी हो, मैंने ऐसी चीजें जिससे कि आप वहाँ पे स्मूथ, जिस पर्पज के लिए रोड नहीं, तो आप रोड पे जाइए तो रोड पे कंजेशन होता है, रोड पे तमाम ऐसी चीजें होती है जो कि आपके अवरुद्ध कर रही है। ये एक सस्टेनेबल, एक वो स्मार्ट रोड होता है। तो कैसे हम लोग अपने जिंदगी में स्मार्टनेस ला सकते हैं, और वहाँ पे जब हम स्मार्टनेस की बात करते हैं, जहाँ पे हम लोगों को ईज इन लिविंग की बात करते हैं, तो वहाँ पे 2 चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती हैं। पहली चीज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, पानी तो रहना पड़ेगा, पानी होगा तभी लोगों को हम पानी दे पाएंगे, लेकिन पानी को हम बेहतर क्वालिटी का और समय से 24/7 हम पानी दे सके, लोगों को ड्रिंक फ्रॉम टैप, अपने पानी टैप से ही लेकर के आप पी सके, वहाँ पे डिजिटल का बहुत बड़ा रोल हो जाता है। डिजिटल इन डिफरेंट फॉर्मेट्स, लोगों की जिंदगी को सुधार करने के लिए पानी है। आपको मालूम है, एक आदमी की आवश्यकता होती है करीब 135 लीटर पानी, जो एवरेज रिक्वायरमेंट होती है 135 लीटर पर हेड। लेकिन अगर यही को हम 24/7 वाटर सप्लाई कर दे तो ये रिक्वायरमेंट करीब घट कर 90 लीटर पर हेड हो जाती है, क्योंकि उतना नुकसान नहीं होता। क्या आपको जानकारी है, तमाम सारे शहरों में, मैं डाटा नहीं देना चाहता, तमाम सारे शहरों में वाटर की उपलब्धता कहीं 300 लीटर है, कहीं 400 लीटर है, कहीं 450 लीटर है, लेकिन पानी 8 घंटा मिलता है, 10 घंटा मिलता है। 24/7 नहीं मिलता, क्योंकि पानी तो है लेकिन पानी का मैनेजमेंट प्रॉपर नहीं, और पानी का मैनेजमेंट प्रॉपर करने के लिए वहाँ पे डिजिटल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स की रोल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। आज की डेट में जिस प्रकार से हमारा देश इनोवेशन को लेकर के, स्टार्टअप को लेकर के, डिजिटल के लिए प्रधानमंत्री जी ने लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया, डिजिटल इंडिया, पूरे देश को डिजिटल सिस्टम के तौर पे डेवलप करने के लिए। आज हमारे यहाँ जो है आप IoT का इतना तेजी से प्रयोग हो रहा है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का, मशीन लर्निंग का, बिग डाटा, इतनी सारी चीजें नई नई जो टेक्नोलॉजी आ रही है, जिस प्रकार से उसका काम हो रहा है, और उसका नतीजा क्या है, जिन शहरों में इस प्रकार की चीज हुई है वहाँ पे देखिए कि पानी का हमारे पास जो एक, जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी स्मार्ट सिटी को, जो हमारे स्मार्ट सिटी का जो मिशन है, उस मिशन को जब लॉन्च कर रहे थे 25 जून 2015 को, तो उन्होंने केवल 3-4 शब्दों में पूरे स्मार्टनेस को उसको बांध दिया था, जो हम लोग इतने दिनों से कोशिश कर रहे थे, व्हाट इज स्मार्ट सिटी। देश ने कभी उसके पहले सोचा भी नहीं था, लेकिन जब प्रधानमंत्री जी जब उन्होंने लॉन्च किया स्मार्ट सिटी के प्रोग्राम को, उसके मिशन को, तो उन्होंने कहा स्मार्टनेस क्या है, टू डू मोर विद लेस। अगर आपके पास 100 लीटर पानी है तो क्या 100 लीटर पानी से ज़्यादा लोगों को आप सर्विस कर सकते हैं? यस, कर सकते हैं, प्रोवाइडेड यू नो हु विल नीड व्हेन एंड हाउ मच और व्हाट क्वालिटी, ताकि उनको सही समय पे उन तक उस बात को पहुंचाया जा सके। जब आप ये पहुंचाना चालू करेंगे, आप ये इंश्योर करेंगे 100 लीटर ही पानी है, तो हमारा पानी नुकसान न, बहुत सारा पानी हमारा काफी सारा तो जो वेस्ट हो जाता है। हमें ये मालूम नहीं कि कितना पानी हमने जो जहाँ पे हमारा सोर्स है वहां से कितना ले गए, और कितना पानी हम वास्तव में जो डिलीवरी है वहां तक कितना पहुंचाए, उस रास्ते में कितना सारा पानी लीकेजेस हो जाता है। वी नीड टू इम्प्रूव द क्वालिटी ऑफ जो हमारा पूरा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम है, ट्रांसमिशन सिस्टम है, जो लास्ट माइल है, जो लास्ट माइल जहाँ पे पानी कलेक्ट करते हैं, उसको, सिस्टम को पूरी टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से उसको हम लोग सुधार कर सकते हैं, और हो रहा है। यही लक्ष्य हमारा अमृत 2.0 का जो लक्ष्य है, अमृत 2.0 का लक्ष्य है कि हम इसको 24/7 कोशिश करेंगे ड्रिंक फ्रॉम टैप, और उसको उत्तर प्रदेश में हमने शुरुआत कर दी। 75 शहरों में हमने इसके 75 वार्ड्स में, हमारे जो मेजर कॉर्पोरेशन के 75 वार्ड्स में इसका काम शुरू कर दिया, और उसकी लर्निंग से हम सारे के सारे म्यूनिसिपल जो हमारे कॉर्पोरेशन है वहाँ पे आने वाले समय में सब जगह 24/7 ड्रिंक फ्रॉम टैप कर देंगे, और वहाँ हम टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग करेंगे, इस डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग करेंगे। जो स्मार्ट सिटी में आप एक साथ बैठ करके डैशबोर्ड के ऊपर सारी की सारी चीज़ों को मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं, देख सकते हैं, उसको पूरा ट्रैक कर सकते हैं। हमारे पास ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम तो है, बट ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम को हम सही तरीके से उसको उपयोग नहीं कर पाएंगे। मोर फ्रॉम लेस, टू सर्व मोर एंड मोर पीपल, टू सेटिस्फाइड मोर एंड मोर रिक्वायरमेंट, लोगों की जरूरतों को पूरा करें फ्रॉम द लेस, जितनी हमारे उपलब्ध है उसे हम कैसे कर सकते हैं, ताकि हम उसके लिए कैसे उसको ट्रैक कर सकते हैं, कहाँ किस में किसकी की जरूरत पड़ रही है। आज पूरा का पूरा जो कंप्लीट जो स्मार्ट सिटी में, अगर आप में से किसी ने जाकर के जो स्मार्ट कमांड एंड कंट्रोल सेंटर देखा होगा, स्मार्ट कमांड एंड कंट्रोल सेंटर क्या है, वहाँ पे सारे के सारे सेंसर बेस्ड सारी इंफॉर्मेशन हम कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, वहाँ ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन नहीं है, करेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे पास आ रही है। चाहे वो स्ट्रीट लाइट, कहाँ कहाँ पे स्ट्रीट लाइट जल रही है, कहाँ स्ट्रीट लाइट बंद है, कब चल रही है, कब कितना उसे कंज्यूम कर, एक एक इंफॉर्मेशन, हमारी बसेस के बारे में, जो हमारे जो कूड़ा इकट्ठा कर रहा है, कूड़े के बारे में हमारी कहाँ पे पहुँच रहा है, कहाँ कलेक्ट कर रहा है, कहाँ नहीं कलेक्ट कर रहा है, एक एक इन्फॉर्मेशन डिजिटली हम उसे कलेक्ट करते हैं, एनालाइज करते हैं, और वो कंप्यूटर की ताकत है, सब उसे कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, कलेक्ट ही करते हैं, उसको प्रोसेस भी करते हैं, उसके बेसिस पे डिसीजन भी लेते हैं, और डिसीजन लेकर के तुरंत उसको ठीक कर देते हैं। और आने वाले समय में जो मैंने वहाँ पे मंत्रालय में कार्य प्रारंभ किया था, फ्रॉम मिशन टू मूवमेंट, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने शुरुआत की थी, स्मार्ट सिटी मिशन की शुरुआत की थी, और उनका लक्ष्य ऐसा नहीं कि हम धीरे धीरे सेलेक्ट करते जाएंगे कि भाई अभी 100 को चला, फिर अगले 100 को चलेंगे, कितना करेंगे। आज 4,800 शहर है हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में, करीब 755 शहर है, कितने शहरों को आप ऐसे चुन चुन करके करते जाएंगे। यू हैव टू मेक दिस मिशन एज ए मूवमेंट, कि जो लर्निंग हमारी स्मार्ट सिटी से हो रही है, कि किस प्रकार से हम पानी का, बिजली का, स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं को, शिक्षा सेवाओं को, जो हमारी ह्यूमन रिक्वायरमेंट है, उस रिक्वायरमेंट को कैसे हम अधिक से अधिक लोगों की ज़रूरतों को पूरा कर सकते हैं, उस काम को पूरा करने के लिए कैसे टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ करते हैं, उस टेक्नोलॉजी को जब एक जगह सीख लिया तो आने वाले समय में जो नए डेवलपमेंट होंगे, दे विल बी इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द लर्निंग फ्रॉम द स्मार्ट, सो दैट ऑल न्यू डेवलपमेंट आर गोइंग टू बी स्मार्ट डेवलपमेंट। नंबर 2, जो भी हमारे रिन्यूअल्स होंगे, जो पुराने शहर को जो हम रिन्यूअल करेंगे, दे विल ऑल बी ऑन द स्मार्ट मोड, क्योंकि हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी है, हमारे पास लर्निंग है, उसको हमें ट्रांसलेट करना है। दैट इज द फ्यूचर रेडी। द फ्यूचर रेडी इज, आने वाले समय में हमारे जो शहर होंगे वो सारे के सारे स्मार्ट शहर होंगे, और इसका प्रारंभ हमने उत्तर प्रदेश में कर दिया। उत्तर प्रदेश में हमने कंसोलिडेट करके एक एक स्मार्ट सिटी को उनके साथ एक एरिया बना दिया कि आपके साथ इतनी सारी एरिया, जितने सारे यहाँ लोकल बॉडी हैं, वो आपसे लर्निंग करेंगे कि कैसे आपने रोड को स्मार्ट बनाया, कैसे आपने बिजली को स्मार्ट बनाया, कैसे आपने पानी को, कैसे सीवर सिस्टम को, कैसे एनर्जी सिस्टम को, कैसे क्या क्या आपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम को, हेल्थ सिस्टम को, जो सारी की सारी सर्विसेज हैं, उन सर्विसेज को कैसे किया। इनफैक्ट एक बहुत बड़े अर्बन प्लानिंग के एक्सपर्ट हैं येन गेल, ये डेनमार्क के जो है, इनका अगर आप में से कोई अर्बन प्लानर होगा तो आप उनका नाम सुना होगा। मुझे सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ जब मैं वहाँ गया था उनसे मिलने का। उन्होंने मुझे किताब दी, सिटीज आर फॉर द पीपल, cities are not for the mayor and the councillors, cities are not for the administrators, cities are not for the employees, cities are for the people। लोगों के लिए शहर होता है, बाकी लोग तो आते जाते रहते हैं, तो उनकी ज़रूरतों को कैसे सिटी पूरी कर सकती है, उसमें कैसे हम टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग कर सकते हैं, ये बहुत आवश्यक है। तो मैं तो आपको, चूंकि रवि जी ने इस बार का एग्जाम्पल दिया, इस हमारे अर्बन के लिए से मैंने उससे कुछ एक एग्जाम्पल निकाले आपको, कि जिससे आपको बता सकूं कि ये कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है फ्यूचर रेडी से। लेकिन फ्यूचर रेडीनेस के लिए केवल इतना ही नहीं, बल्कि हमारे सारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, आज आप देखिए देश में जिस प्रकार से पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, चाहे वो हमारा शिपिंग का सेक्टर हो, चाहे वो हमारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में, हमारे ट्रांसपोर्ट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में सिविल एविएशन का सेक्टर हो, शिपिंग का सेक्टर हो, रेलवेज का हो, मेट्रो रेल का हो, रोडवेज का सेक्टर हो, आप देखिए कितना परिवर्तन, कितने सारा कायाकल्प हो रहा है, और वो सारी की सारी चीजें मैं आने वाले समय के लिए तैयार कर रही हूँ। अब मैं उदाहरण अपने प्रदेश से देता हूँ। जो हम $1 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी की बात करते हैं, तो $1 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी के पीछे पिछले 5 सालों में माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के उनके मार्गदर्शन में, उनके संरक्षण में किस प्रकार से हमारे प्रदेश में पूरा का पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की किस तरह परिवर्तन हुआ। 5 सालों के भीतर आप जानते हैं कि हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश एक्सप्रेसवेज में हिंदुस्तान का सबसे ज्यादा एक्सप्रेसवे वाला प्रदेश है। यहाँ पे आज 13 एक्सप्रेसवे, जिसमें 6 एक्सप्रेसवे आज की डेट में संचालित है और 7 एक्सप्रेसवे पे काम चल रहा है। कई हजार किलोमीटर की हमारी एक्सप्रेसवे उत्तर प्रदेश में 13 एक्सप्रेसवे, 6 चल रहा है, 7 पे काम चल रहा है, वो पूरे होंगे, अभी आने वाले समय पूरे होंगे। क्या आपको मालूम है कि हमारे यहाँ 3 इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट्स हैं, 2 और इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट पे काम चल रहा है, वो आने वाले समय चालू होंगे। 5 इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट हमारे प्रदेश में होंगे। 9 एयरपोर्ट से हमारे 50 डेस्टिनेशंस कनेक्टेड है, और कई सारे हमारे एयरपोर्ट्स बन रहे हैं जो कि हम रीजनल कनेक्टिविटी के तहत पूरे देश से जोड़ रहे हैं। इन एयर कनेक्टिविटी इसकी इंप्रूव कर रही है। यहाँ से जो है जो हमारी मेट्रो रेल, जो केवल एक शहर में हुआ करती थी प्रदेश की, आज 5 शहरों में मेट्रो रेल है। और वही नहीं, हिंदुस्तान की पहली रीजनल रैपिड ट्रांसपोर्ट RRTS सिस्टम उत्तर प्रदेश में, मैं समझता हूँ दिसंबर का पहला उसका लेग है। मैं उसको फॉलो कर रहा था वहाँ पे अर्बन सेक्रेटरी के तौर पे, और यहाँ पे एज ए चीफ सेक्रेटरी फॉलो करता हूँ। पहला RRTS हिंदुस्तान का, जैसे पहला मेट्रो आया था हिंदुस्तान में, जैसे पहला RRTS हमारा दिल्ली से लेकर के मेरठ का वो चालू हो जाएगा दिसंबर में। दिसंबर के एंड तक पहला 17 किलोमीटर का उसका जो लेग है वो चालू होगा, और सारा का सारा 2024 तक 100% 82 किलोमीटर, जिसमें पूरा लगभग 82 किलोमीटर की यात्रा मात्र 55 मिनट में आप करेंगे और 15-16 स्टेशनों पर रुकते हुए। ये हिंदुस्तान में पहले बार होगा। ये हमारा जो RRTS, हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में जो नेशनल हाईवेज, आज आप कहीं भी किसी भी एरिया में जाइए, आप बुंदेलखंड में जाइए, आप हमारे ईस्टर्न यूपी में जाइए, वेस्टर्न यूपी में जाइए, सारे के सारे कितने आज बेहतर कनेक्टिविटी हमारी हो रखी। पहला देश का वाटरवेज जो इनलैंड वाटरवेज है वो उत्तर प्रदेश में बना। बनारस में हमारा पूरा पूरा फ्रीट विलेज बनारस में बन रहा है, उसका जो है, जहाँ पे हल्दिया से लेके बनारस तक आप डायरेक्टली, आप जानते हैं कि कितना सस्ता हो जाता है आपका फ्रीट मूवमेंट, कितना सस्ता हो जाता है। जो दो मेजर हमारे जो एक ईस्टर्न डेडिकेटेड फ्रीट कॉरिडोर बन रहा है, वेस्टर्न डेडिकेटेड फ्रीट कॉरिडोर बना, आपको मालूम है उत्तर प्रदेश का सबसे बड़ा भाग, इस पूरे फ्रीट कॉरिडोर का सबसे बड़ा भाग उत्तर प्रदेश में है। और ये दोनों कॉरिडोर हमारे एक जगह पे मिलते हैं, वो हमारा जगह है वहाँ पे नोएडा के पास। तो ये हमारा जो है उत्तर प्रदेश में ये दोनों के दोनों फ्रीट कॉरिडोर मिलते हैं। यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा लॉजिस्टिक हब ग्रेटर नोएडा में कितना बड़ा लॉजिस्टिक हब हमारा बन करके तैयार हो रहा है। यानी उत्तर प्रदेश हर तरीके से ट्रांसपोर्ट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के बारे में फ्यूचर रेडी है, क्योंकि ये बहुत आवश्यक है आने वाले समय में। अगर हमें डेवलपमेंट होंगे जिससे कि जब हम $1 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी की बात करते हैं, तो चाहे हमारा फूड हो, फूड प्रोसेसिंग हो, तमाम सारी जितनी सारी हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट है, सारी की सारी उनका मूवमेंट हमारा कितना आसान है। बलिया से लेकर के दिल्ली पहुंचने में कुछ घंटे लगते हैं, ताकि हमारा पूरा पूरा मूवमेंट इतना आसान हो जाएगा। क्या आपको मालूम है यहाँ पे डिफेंस कॉरिडोर, जब हिंदुस्तान में 2 डिफेंस कॉरिडोर बने, इसमें एक डिफेंस कॉरिडोर हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में, जिसके 6 नोड्स, और आज यहाँ पे ब्रह्मोस से लेकर के कितनी सारी चीजें उत्तर प्रदेश में बननी चालू हो रही है। यहाँ पे हमारा जो है, आज अगर हम IT सर्विसेज के बारे में बात करें, ITS सर्विसेज के बारे में बात करें, आज हिंदुस्तान का 45% मोबाइल उत्तर प्रदेश में मैन्युफैक्चर किया जाता है। मोबाइल के 55% पार्ट्स जो हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में बनते हैं। आज हम एक डाटा सेंटर का हब बनने जा रहे हैं। डाटा सेंटर का पूरा पूरा एक सीरीज बन रही है, उसके पूरा डाटा सेंटर के हब बनने जा रहे हैं। यहाँ पे टेक्सटाइल का, फार्मा का, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कंडक्टर, जो हमारा जो सेमीकंडक्टर्स है, सेमीकंडक्टर्स एंड फैब यूनिट्स, उसके लिए हम तैयारी करें, किसको हम लेकर के आएंगे, टॉय इंडस्ट्री के लिए। ये सब सारा का सारा उत्तर प्रदेश में ये सारी चीजें एक साथ हो रही है। यहाँ पे जो हमारी मेडिकल डिवाइसेस होती हैं, उसका पार्ट, आप सोचिए कि क्या चीज हो सकता है। आज उत्तर प्रदेश के बारे में पूरे देश ही नहीं, दुनिया भर में लोग देख रहे हैं कि उत्तर प्रदेश किस प्रकार से आगे बढ़ रहा है। वो हम फ्यूचर रेडी तैयार हो रहे हैं। आपको मालूम होगा कि 2018 में जब पहले बार यहाँ पे इन्वेस्टर मीट की गई थी, उसमें 1000 से ज़्यादा लोगों ने, लगभग 1500 लोगों ने भाग लिया था, और लगभग 4.5 लाख करोड़ से ऊपर का इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान किया। वहाँ पे लोगों ने MOU साइन किया था, और 3 लगातार हमारी इसके बाद जो है ग्राउंड ब्रेकिंग सेरेमनीज हुई, जिसकी पिछली सेरेमनी इसी साल हुई, क्योंकि बीच में 2 साल का वक्त जो था वो हमारा कोविड का वक्त था। तो इस बार भी जो हुई तो 80,000 करोड़ से ज़्यादा की ग्राउंड ब्रेकिंग सेरेमनी हुई, क्योंकि उत्तर प्रदेश आज ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में देश में काफ़ी अच्छा स्थान रखता है। अगर आप स्टार्टअप की बात करें, अगर आप इनोवेशंस की बात करें, इसके बारे में हमारे IITs हैं, IIT कानपुर हो, IIT BHU हो, यहाँ पे अदर हमारे टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस जो हमारे NITs हैं, अदर इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, IIMs है, सब जगह इंक्यूबेशन, इनोवेशन, ये आज ऑर्डर है, जिसमें जो कि बच्चों को उन्हें प्रेरित करके, उन्हें तैयार करके फ्यूचर रेडी, दे आर गेटिंग रेडी फॉर इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ द फ्यूचर। द वर्ल्ड इज लुकिंग फॉर कि उत्तर प्रदेश में हम क्या कर सकते हैं। और तभी अभी जो हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने लक्ष्य रखा कि हम जब जनवरी के महीने में ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट करेंगे, उसमें 10 लाख करोड़ के इन्वेस्टमेंट हम लोग प्लान करेंगे, जिसमें दुनिया भर से लोग यहाँ पे आए और आके उत्तर प्रदेश जो माहौल दे रहा है, चाहे वो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का सिचुएशन हो, आज किसी को इस बात का डर नहीं कि हमको अगवा कोई करके ले जाएगा, इस बात का किसी को डर नहीं है कि आपके साथ कोई ऐसी गलत हरकतें करेगा। आप पूरी तरह सुरक्षित है। आज यहाँ पे अगर कोई भी किसी प्रकार से कानून व्यवस्था के साथ खेलने का कोशिश करता है, उसे जो कानून के भीतर सख्त से सख्त सजा दी जाती है। इसके बारे में कोई संकोच नहीं होता। किसी को किसी प्रकार का, उन्हें अगर कहें कि किसी प्रकार के उनको जो प्रोटेक्शन मिला हुआ है, संरक्षण मिला हुआ है, कोई प्रोटेक्शन नहीं। आप अगर कानून के साथ खिलवाड़ करेंगे तो आपके साथ जो सख्त से सख्त सजा हो सकती है वो सख्त से सख्त सजा दी जाएगी। इसलिए उत्तर प्रदेश में कानून व्यवस्था बिगाड़ने की लोगों को हिम्मत नहीं। यहाँ पे आज हमारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में, चाहे बिजली के बारे में हो, पानी के बारे में, हर जगह एक आमूल चूल परिवर्तन इस प्रकार के ऐसी चीजें, और हर एरिया में, हर क्षेत्र में एक इन्वेस्टर फ्रेंडली माहौल बना हुआ है। वो हम उसको ले फ्यूचर रेडी फॉर आने वाले समय, जो हमारा जो आने वाले समय में हम उत्तर प्रदेश को जो अर्थव्यवस्था बढ़ाएंगे, लोगों की जिंदगी में सुधार करेंगे, उसके लिए पूरा का पूरा कोशिश हो रहा है। और जो आपने जो डिजिटल की बात की, डिजिटल में किस प्रकार से आप कैसे टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज करेंगे, टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करके कैसे लोगों की जिंदगी को आसान करेंगे, कैसे आप ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस करेंगे, टेक्नोलॉजी का पूरा भरपूर प्रयोग हमारे प्रदेश में, देश में तो पूरे देश में तो हो ही रहा है, क्योंकि मैं पूरे देश का वहाँ पे इतने लंबे अवधि से भारत सरकार में रहा और मैं बड़े नज़दीक से देखा कि कैसे हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हर जगह टेक्नोलॉजी फोकस्ड। तो टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ करने से चीज़ों में सस्टेनेबिलिटी आती है, टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ करने से ट्रांसपेरेंसी एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी आती है, ट्रांसपेरेंसी के यूज़ करने से जो हमारे इंडिविजुअल बायसेस हैं वो बायसेस उससे ख़त्म हो जाते हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी के यूज़ करने से जो हमारे वेस्टेजेस हैं वेस्टेजेस कम हो जाते हैं। टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग करके आप इतनी सारी चीज़ों को ला सकते हो। टेक्नोलॉजी मीन्स बहुत सारी चीज़ें। मैं कंस्ट्रक्शन टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में बात करूँ, एक बार माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ऐसे एक समीक्षा कर रहे थे और समीक्षा में उन्होंने मुझसे कहा कि क्या हम दुनिया की बेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी को कंस्ट्रक्शन में ला सकते हैं। वही एक चुनौती थी, एक प्रकार से हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा टास्क था। उस टास्क को पूरा करने के लिए हमने काफ़ी सारे कंसल्टेशन किए। उस कंसल्टेशन के बाद क्या रिजल्ट निकला? ग्लोबल हाउसिंग टेक्नोलॉजी चैलेंज। पूरे दुनिया को हमने चुनौती दी कि आपकी जो बेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी, आइए हिंदुस्तान आज एक माहौल दे रहा है, आपके लिए एक ऐसा मौका दे रहा है कि आप यहाँ पे आकर के अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी को ला सकते हैं और यहाँ से आप अपने पूरी दुनिया में लेके जा सकते हैं। नतीजन दुनिया भर से लोग आए, 50 से ज़्यादा लोग पार्टिसिपेट किए चैलेंज में, और उनमें से 6 को सेलेक्ट किया गया और उस 6 में एक तो हमारे लखनऊ में भी है, 5 और जगहों में हमारे हर एक क्षेत्र में एक है। वहाँ पे किस तेजी के साथ कंस्ट्रक्शन हो सकता है, आज की नई टेक्नोलॉजी, जो टेक्नोलॉजी हमारे देश में नहीं थी पहले, कैसे उससे हम उसकी तेजी के साथ कर सकते हैं, कैसे हम कॉस्ट बचा सकते हैं, कैसे हम उसको जो है इन्वायरमेंट का नुकसान कम कर सकते हैं, कैसे हम लोग जो रिसोर्सेज को कम कर सकते हैं। और यही नहीं, बल्कि आने वाले समय में टेक्नोलॉजी का हम कैसे यूज करें, इसके लिए अफोर्डेबल सस्टेनेबल हाउसिंग एक्सेलरेटर्स, जिसको हमने आशा का नाम दिया, आशा इंडिया, जिसमें हमारे 5 IITs में और एक हमारा जो सेंट्रल बिल्डिंग रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट का जोरहाट का सेंटर है, वहाँ पे यानी इतने जगह पे आशा बनाया गया ताकि हमारे लोगों की क्रिएटिविटी, बिकॉज सिविल इंजीनियरिंग इज नॉट द ब्रिक एंड मोटार्स। जो ब्रिक एंड मोटार का पुराना कंस्ट्रक्शन चलता था, उससे अब काम नहीं चलने वाला। आज क्लाइमेट के बारे में हमारी सेंसिटिविटी इतनी बढ़ गई है, वी हैव टू मेक श्योर कि क्लाइमेट चेंज के लिए जो हम इन्वायरमेंट को डैमेज करते हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन में, क्या हम उसको कम कर सकते हैं, क्या हम उसे खत्म कर सकते हैं। आज हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ग्लासगो 26 में जो COP26 हुआ, वहाँ पे उन्होंने लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया अपने देश का, उन्होंने एक वहाँ पे हमारे लिए कमिटमेंट लिया कि बाय 2070 वी विल बी द जीरो एमिशन कंट्री। टू गेट टू दैट लेवल ऑफ जीरो एमिशन कंट्री, आपको बहुत सारे रास्ते तय करने हैं, जिसमें हर एक सेक्टर को काम करना होगा टू बिकम फ्यूचर रेडी। उनको जो है कैसे हम जो है अपनी इसको काम करें कि जिससे कंस्ट्रक्शन में हम लोग मिनिमम डैमेज कर सके इन्वायरमेंट को। और उसके लिए हमारा आशा इंडिया, चाहे वो बिल्डिंग मटेरियल हो, चाहे बिल्डिंग का प्रोसेसेस हो, बिल्डिंग टेक्नोलॉजी हो, हर चीज़ में। और आपको जानकर आश्चर्य हुआ, लोग इतने सारे आगे आए। अभी मेरे पास आंकड़े नहीं है क्योंकि मैं पिछले 8-9 महीने से मैं यहाँ उत्तर प्रदेश में काम कर रहा हूँ। इतने सारे बच्चे आए, इतने सारे लोग आए, किस्म किस्म के इनोवेशंस का तो कमाल ये है कि आपको स्वच्छ भारत मिशन में इतने किस्म के इनोवेशंस आए, आप सोच नहीं कर सकते हैं। जब प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते थे कूड़ा से कंचन की बात करते थे, हम लोग को समझ में नहीं आती थी बात, लेकिन जब इसको काम करना चालू किया तो देखा कि कूड़ा से सचमुच कंचन, कंचन यानी सोना, कूड़े से सोना निकल रहा है। जिस कूड़े को आप बर्दाश्त नहीं करते थे वो कूड़ा आपके लिए एक बड़ा मेजर सोर्स बन रहा है, कितने लोगों को नौकरी दे रहा है। ये है देश की ताकत, ये है टेक्नोलॉजी, ये है इनोवेशन, ये है हमारा स्टार्टअप, जिससे कि हम आम आदमी की समस्या का निदान कर सकते हैं। तो टेक्नोलॉजी पर से कुछ नहीं कर सकती, टेक्नोलॉजी के प्रयोग से, टेक्नोलॉजी के सही उपयोग से हम बहुत सारी चीज़ों का आंसर दे सकते हैं, बहुत सारी चीज़ों को बढ़िया बना सकते हैं। टेक्नोलॉजी का नतीजा है कि कितने आप सोच सकते हैं, जरा एक बार सोच करके देखिए, आज हमारे देश में डीबीटी, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर, मैं समझता हूँ दुनिया का इतना बड़ा प्रोग्राम कहीं भी पूरे दुनिया में नहीं है। आज इतना बड़ा जो हमारे कोविड के दौरान इतने सारे लोगों को, 200 करोड़ से ज्यादा लोगों को वैक्सीनेशन किया गया। हमारे प्रदेश में 38 करोड़ से ज्यादा लोगों को वैक्सीनेशन किया गया, और कोविन पोर्टल के माध्यम से ये तो पॉकेट में आपकी सारी सूचना रहती है। आप कहेंगे किसी पूछा भी वैक्सीनेशन है, कुछ नहीं, पॉकेट से मोबाइल निकाला, अपना दिखा दिया, भाई ये हमारा वैक्सीनेशन है, देख लीजिए फला डेट को यहाँ किया गया। ये टेक्नोलॉजी की ताकत है, टेक्नोलॉजी की ताकत है। इतने सारे लोगों को गरीब कल्याण योजना के अंतर्गत सब कुछ बेटा, किसी की कहीं शिकायत हुई नहीं? शिकायत हुई। आधार जो हमारा सारा आधार के साथ जोड़ करके ऑथेंटिकेट करके चीजें, आज हम लोग किसान के खेत में, अभी जो हाल में जो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने लक्ष्य रखा कि हम लोग एक डिजिटल एग्रीकल्चर का मतलब हर खेत को, जैसे कि आपका नाम है, किसी का राम है, किसी का मोहन है, किसी का श्याम है, अलग अलग लोगों का नाम है, वैसे हमारे हर खेत का नाम होगा, हर खेत का अपना अपना खुद की आइडेंटिटी होगी, और उत्तर प्रदेश इस पे काम कर रहा है। और बहुत जल्दी, मुझे पूरा मुझे कॉन्फिडेंस है, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है, हम हर खेत को बहुत जल्दी 1-1.5 साल के भीतर 100% सारे के सारे हर प्लॉट को हम डिजिटली जो है मैप कर देंगे, हर एक का जो है जियो रेफरेंस कर देंगे, एवरी प्लॉट। और फिर हर प्लॉट का क्या क्वालिटी है, उस प्लॉट में उसकी क्या एनपीके की क्या स्थिति है, उसका कैसा सेहत है, अगर वहाँ पे कौन सी चीज़ की बुआई कर रहे हैं। कि पहले हम लोग एक बेसिकली हम तो रेवेन्यू ऑफिसर है, एसडीएम रहे, एडीएम रहे, डीएम रहे, अलग अलग लेवल पे रेवेन्यू पे मैंने काम किया। हम लोग क्रॉप कटिंग करते थे, बहुत सारी चीज़ काम करते थे रेवेन्यू रिलेटेड, लेकिन चीज़ें सही नहीं थी, और जब तक सही डाटा ना हो तब तक आप सही प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं कर सकते। लेकिन जब हम एक एक प्लॉट तक पहुंच जाएंगे तो हमें मालूम होगा उस खेत में आप बाजरा लगाए हो कि ज्वार लगाए हो कि धान लगाए हो कि क्या चीज़ लगाए, वहाँ पे क्या उसकी उपज, एक एक इन्फॉर्मेशन। और क्या करना है, कुछ नहीं, मोबाइल निकाला, उससे आपने फोटो खींचा, अपलोड कर दिया, उससे आपको जो है उसका लेट लॉन्ग के साथ हर चीज़ की जानकारी मिल गई। इतना आसान हो गया, क्राउड सोर्सिंग है बिकम सो सिंपल। आप सोच सकते हैं कितना काम आसान हो गया। तो टेक्नोलॉजी ने हमें जो ताकत दी है, जिससे हम, और ये पूरा देश, पूरा दुनिया स्तब्ध है कि भारत जिस तेजी से टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग कर रहा है। जो हमारा डिजिटल, आपको जानकर के पीएम स्वनिधि का कार्यक्रम था माननीय प्रधानमंत्री की प्रेरणा से, जो सबसे गरीब, जिसको हमने, मैं जब भारत सरकार सेक्रेटरी को मैं नैनो एंटरप्रेन्योर कहता था, नैनो एंटरप्रेन्योर, जो कि सबसे छोटा, बहुत, जो ठेले के ऊपर अपना कोई कोई मिठाई बेचता है, तो कोई पापड़ और चाय बना करके बेच रहा है, तो कोई वहाँ पे कपड़े बेच रहा है, कोई कुछ बेच रहा है। ऐसे जो छोटे छोटे जो हमारे वो थे बेचारे, कोविड में उनको सारी तकलीफ में, उनको बड़ी सारी तकलीफ थी, जिसके नाते उनके धंधे बंद हो गए। उनके लिए पीएम स्वनिधि के नाम से एक योजना भारत सरकार ने एक मिशन प्रारंभ किया, और इस तेजी से देखते देखते, मैं समझता हूँ इतना तेजी से किसी योजना में इतना ज़्यादा लोगों को नहीं मिला होगा, लाभ मिला होगा। और उसका केवल एक कारण था, जब मैं इस स्कीम को, जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने इस स्कीम को किया, तो इस काम को हमने करके 100% डिजिटली ड्रिवन स्कीम होगी, कहीं कोई ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन नहीं होगा। राइट फ्रॉम एप्लीकेशन से लेकर के उसको डिस्बर्समेंट से लेकर के उसका फॉलोअप से लेकर के उसकी जो यहाँ तक की जो उस स्कीम में आप सोच सकते हैं, उस स्कीम में जो है हमें 2 किस्म के इंसेंटिव, आप कितने डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन करते हैं उसके आधार पे 50 करते हैं, 100 करते हैं, सब डिटेल में, चूंकि पीएम स्वनिधि पे मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, अलग अलग लेवल पे आप अलग अलग इंसेंटिव, इसको 1 रुपया मिलेगा, यहाँ पे 8 आना मिलेगा, यहाँ पे 25 पैसे मिलेगा, कुल 100 रुपये आपको ट्रांजेक्शन से मिल जाएगा। आप समय से पैसा जमा करते हैं उसके ऊपर आपको जो है इंटरेस्ट में आपको सबवेंशन होगा, कहीं किसी को एप्लीकेशन देने की जरूरत नहीं, सारा का सारा सिस्टम ड्रिवन है, सारा का सारा सिस्टम ऑटोमेटिकली कैप्चर करता है, एनपीसीआई उसको कैप्चर कर लेता है, आता है और हमारे अकाउंट से सीधा सीधा उनके अकाउंट में पैसा चला जाता है, नो ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन। आप सोच सकते हैं कि कितना बड़ा आसान हो गया। दैट इज द फ्यूचर ऑफ इंडिया। उसको जो जो इंसेंटिव वो उसको पहुंच जा रहा है, उसको इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन उसके पास पहुंच जा रहा है, उसके पास ये मैसेज आ रहा है कि आपका कंप्लीट हो गया, सेकंड, अब आप सेकंड ट्रांस के लिए आओ। आज बड़ी संख्या में लोग, मैं आज ही मैं फिगर देख रहा था आते समय, चूंकि मैं इन चीज़ों को इतनी गहराई से देख चुका हूँ कि मैं कभी कभी देख लेता हूँ, मोबाइल पे मेरे पास सब कुछ उपलब्ध है, मैं देख लेता हूँ। मैं देख रहा था कि 6-7 लाख लोग तो सेकंड ट्रांस ले रहे हैं, 31 लाख लोग पूरा फर्स्ट का ले चुके हैं, थर्ड ट्रांस लोग लेना चालू कर दिए। कोई सोच नहीं सकता था कि इतना तेजी से काम। दैट इज द ब्यूटी, दैट इज द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, दैट इज द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी। कहीं कोई शिकायत नहीं हुई किसी की, किसी के कुछ नहीं किया, और इसको मैंने बहुत नज़दीक से देखा, पूरे देश में बड़े नज़दीक से देखा कैसे लोगों ने, टेक्नोलॉजी है, टेक्नोलॉजी की ताकत है, तो उस ताकत को कैसे हम प्रयोग कर सकते हैं लोगों की ज़िंदगी को। मैंने कहा कि जो लक्ष्य जो है वो लक्ष्य हमारा है कि लोगों की ज़िंदगी को आसान करें, वो मूल लक्ष्य है। उसके लिए कैसे हम लोग जो डिजिटली उपयोग कर सकते हैं, और फिर आप देखेंगे कि कैसे एक वर्ग इस अर्थव्यवस्था के साथ जुड़ जाएगा, हर एक की क्षमताएं बढ़ जाएगी। आप शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में देख लीजिए, आप शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में देख लीजिए कैसे सारी की सारी पूरी नॉलेज, द होल नॉलेज इंडस्ट्री इज गोइंग डिजिटल। कितना कमाल की चीज हो रही है। दैट इज द फ्यूचर ऑफ इंडिया, दैट्स द फ्यूचर ऑफ इंडिया। तो आप जिस विषय पे चर्चा कर रहे हैं अमित जी, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विषय है। मैं इसके ऊपर तो क्योंकि इतने मेरे अनुभव हैं, इतनी सारी चीज़ों में जुड़ करके मैं तो इसमें बहुत सारी बातें कर सकता हूँ। मेरा मानना तो इतना है कि जो लोग यहाँ पे आए हुए, मुझे बताया गया कि इंडस्ट्री से लोग आए हुए हैं, एकेडमिया से लोग आए हुए हैं, और गवर्नमेंट से लोग आए हुए हैं, हमें केवल ये पहचानना हमें तकलीफ है कहाँ पे, हम क्या करें। सौवीं साल में आप हम सब सोच सकते हैं कि हम 100वीं साल बनाते इसमें कैसे होंगे, क्या होंगे, हमारे बच्चे कैसे होंगे, हम कैसे होंगे, हमारे परिवार कैसे होंगे, हमारा गांव सड़क गांव कैसा होगा, शहर कैसा होगा, इंडस्ट्री कैसी होगी, बहुत कुछ चीज़ें आप सोच सकते हैं। जैसे मैंने कहा कि हमारी, मैं समझता हूँ 2047 में हमारे देश की अर्थव्यवस्था दुनिया के नंबर 2 या नंबर 3 अर्थव्यवस्था होगी। मैं समझता हूँ कि उस समय हमारा लाइफ बिल्कुल अलग हो जाएगा, हमारे शहर बिल्कुल अलग हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि हमने स्मार्ट सिटी से, वो सिटी मिशन था, मिशन से मूवमेंट चालू कर दिया कि आने वाला सारा अर्बनाइजेशन स्मार्ट होगा। हमारे जो मजदूर है, किसान है, किसानों का जब डिजिटल एग्रीकल्चर की बात होगी तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें, उनकी लाइफ इतनी आसान हो जाएगी। एग्रीकल्चर अपने आप में एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ होगी। ऐसे ही आप सोच सकते हैं, और जब सोचे तो उसको फिर इम्प्लीमेंट करें कि जिम्मेदारी तो हम ही लोगों की, हमको भगवान ने इस योग्य बनाया कि हम कुछ कर सकते हैं, हम कुछ उसके लिए सहयोग कर सकते हैं, चाहे हम इंडस्ट्री में हो, हम एकेडमिया में हो, हम सरकार में हो, जो हम सोच रहे हैं कि हम उसको इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं। अगर कर सकते हैं तो आप बिल्कुल सही रास्ते पे। नहीं कर रहे हैं, अपना समय व्यर्था कर रहे हैं, ऐसे बहुत लोग समय व्यर्था करते रहते हैं, आप भी उसकी श्रेणी में हो सकते हैं। लेकिन देश बदल रहा है, और बदलते देश के लिए बदलती सोच की आवश्यकता है। वो बदलती सोच है कि हमारे पास जो ताकत है टेक्नोलॉजी की, जो आज दुनिया में सबसे ज़्यादा भारत आगे बढ़ रहा है टेक्नोलॉजी के बढ़ते थे। चाहे वो कोविड के काल में हमने जिस प्रकार से काम किया, बहुत सारी चीज़ें, मुझे चीज़ें गिनाने लगूंगा तो मैं गिनाता ही चला जाऊंगा। उस चीज़ को हम लोग कैसे उपयोग कर सकते हैं, तो मैं समझता हूँ ये बहुत पर्टिनेंट विषय आपने रवि जी ने चुना है, और मैं आपको शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ कि इससे आप चर्चा करके आप यहाँ पे और भी जगहों पे जब आप चर्चा करेंगे, आप ये निकालिए कि क्या हम किस प्रकार से हम टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग करके अपने देश को 2047 के लिए तैयार करें। मैं इन्हीं बातों के साथ अपनी वाणी को विराम दूंगा। आपने मुझे मौका दिया, इसके लिए मैं आपको धन्यवाद दूंगा। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद।
इतनी उम्मीदें और इतना उत्साह इस स्पीच के बाद आया कि मतलब मैं स्टेज पर आ गया हूँ। सो बहुत बहुत सर धन्यवाद। इट वाज ए हाईली मोटिवेटिंग एंड इंस्पायरिंग स्पीच एंड इट हैज increased our confidence as a nation, as a state, that how much progress is actually possible. Like I have the honor of interacting with sir for last decade almost in the center and now in the state, and I have closely seen and observed that how much motivated, how much what you call visionary he is in implementing and visualizing things. So it's an honor, and thanks for sir for being here. Let me request Anish Dhawan, Chief Operating Officer of Public Sector, Microsoft India, to deliver a word of thanks for speech of Chief Secretary, sir. Anish ji, आइए आपके लिए।
So I won't dare make an attempt of of delivering it in Hindi, but मैं पूरी कोशिश करूँगा कि मैं जितना हिंदी को यूज़ कर सकूँ उसका यूज़ करूँ. So first of all, thank you so much. जितनी बड़ी पिक्चर आपने पेंट की थी अभी, right? I'm sure everybody sitting here would be thinking on how can he be part or she be part of it. And that's the thought I also had in mind. I mean, you covered almost everything, right? From smart cities to being future ready in every sense, and how each person can contribute as per their capacity, right? In contributing to becoming the number one, number two by in after 100 years of our independence, right? And I have representatives from Microsoft, right, who actually work for the state here, right? I'm sure they will be bubbling with ideas on how can we partner to do that. Right. All I can say is that I am seeing a very strong momentum across government and public sector to transform. Right. It's not just in Uttar Pradesh, but wherever we have dynamic leaders like you, right, who are driving, who are in the driver's seat, right, we're seeing this strong momentum to transform and innovate with technology. And Microsoft is committed, right, to actually working with your state bodies through their partner ecosystem and ISV ecosystem, who can bring in the solutions which we directly cannot bring in from worldwide, right? Our worldwide experience. And we really look forward to working very closely with the state government of UP, right? And others across the country, right? In empowering government and officials to leverage the new technologies like data, artificial intelligence in bringing to reality whatever we are envisioning as of now, right? And all we look forward to is a very strong guidance coming from leaders like you in telling us where to engage to help us prioritize in our engagements. And I'm sure that, you know, we and you will see a lot of value in our partnership. With that, I would like to just thank you, Elets, right, for giving us this opportunity for doing this thought exchange.
Thank you, Mr. Dhawan. And may I request Mr. Anish Dhawan and Dr. Ravi Gupta to please present a small token of appreciation to Sri Durga Shankar Mishra, Chief Secretary, Government of Uttar Pradesh, for his insightful keynote session and his presence at the summit today. Mr. Anish Dhawan, could you please present this Memento to Sri Durga Shankar Mishra, Chief Secretary, Government of Uttar Pradesh. A huge round of applause, please. And may I request Dr. Ravi Gupta to please present the e-governance magazine to Sri Durga Shankar Mishra ji. And Mr. Anish Dhawan, please, if you could present this magazine. A round of applause, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your gracious presence today at Future Ready Summit. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We now have a brief insight into this wonderful video titled Hum Rukna Nahi Jante, Empowering the Unstoppable India to be Future Ready. Can we have the video, please?
आधुनिकता लाना हम जानते हैं। देश के हर कोने में अपडेटेड हेल्थ सॉल्यूशंस के होने की अहमियत हम जानते हैं। इनकी मेहनत की कमाई को सही हाथों तक पहुंचाना हम जानते हैं। खराब मौसम की सूचना सही समय पर रेस्क्यू टीम तक पहुंचाना हम जानते हैं।
Now, if we will summarize the entire day, this single slide can summarize what everything we have spoken about. We have spoken about farmers, we have spoken about lots of things around where we want to validate something in terms of map, in terms of construction. We want to achieve lots of stuff. Now, this is where the public should be at the center. We have to deliver citizen services. Now, second thing is we have to enable the employee. We have to make sure they are having the right tools, they are having the right skills so that they can execute what they are supposed to do. Third aspect is we have to maximize on the resources. There are budget constraints, we have to deliver more, so we have to maximize on the resources. There has been lots of discussion about building intelligent workforce or intelligent supply chain. We should be able to deliver our work from anywhere and from any devices. And there was a discussion about cybersecurity. When people are talking about situation between private and public sector, there was a discussion about ransomware attacks. So there is a need to build the platform which should be able to protect from cybersecurity kind of attacks. Now, if you'll observe all these things, and if you will try to execute on ground, these kind of digital transformation should be there at all level. Now, first thing is leaders. We are making sorry. So we are making government policies. We want to execute. There are leaders who would like to get the insight, and there should be actionable driven from that particular insight. Another key vertical while we are executing on the ground are information worker. Information worker, we say, who are generating the information, consuming the information, and depending upon the intelligence, they are finalizing certain action. And these actions have to be delivered by frontline worker. So this is where the entire landscape of digital governance and transformations should be there on ground while we are trying to execute all these initiatives which we have spoken since morning till this particular time. So overall, if we are looking for future ready Bharat, then digital transformation should be all across. We should cover leaders, we should cover information worker, we should cover frontline workers as well. Now, if you'll see the way we are executing till today, lots of emphasis and concentration have been there around enabling leaders and enabling information worker. We are not able to concentrate a lot for enabling digital workforce, which is there on ground. Now, if you'll see what are those frontline worker category, which exactly I am talking about, I said any workforce which is executing your work on ground. So that particular workforce can be into services, can be into support delivery, can be into sales, can be into Anganwadi, can be into the district, which may be working for healthcare, which might be working to deliver the relief funds. So there can be any category of workforce working for government to serve our citizen. Now, if you will see what kind of workforce they are for government, right, while they are interacting with citizen. So they are the primary face for the government. They are at the center. And this is where we have to enable these kind of workforce so that whatever we are trying to deliver to the citizen in terms of policy making should get delivered on ground in terms of reality. But if you really see what has been the state, and by observing what kind of IT landscape and digital transformation landscape has been there for this particular category of workforce, there are feedbacks. These kind of experience or these kind of enablement with these workforce, frontline workforce are having on ground, they are using outdated tool. Many of the processes are manual, and there is a need to convert those manual processes into digital processes. These processes are fragmented. right? Someone is using WhatsApp, there is a mobile device. Someone is using walkie-talkie, someone is using particular app. There were example of farmers where they are accessing specific portals, they are consuming something. And the entire situations of digital enablement of this workforce is quite complex. Now, if we'll see what kind of feedbacks we have been receiving from this particular workforce segment, situation is same. While I am saying there has to be lots of emphasis to enable this particular workforce category, which is frontline, the feedback which is coming from the frontline is almost same. You will see this particular slide, the number 3 ask, which this particular category of workforce is asking, they want the right tool so that they can be more efficient, they can be more effective, they can achieve more in the lesser time. Now, if we'll go slightly granular now, while we have spoken about what kind of workforce we are talking about, what is the problem statement, what exactly this particular workforce is supposed to do. They will be communicating at various level with each other, right? That communication can start from the top, it can go to the last mile. There can be conversation across department, there can be conversations between district and the smaller regional footprints within the state. They should be able to access the relevant access so that they can be successful in their group. There were lots of discussion about knowledge management, right? Knowledge managements are getting created at various levels, but the probability of accessing those kind of knowledge management repositories is inefficient, and that is the reason impact of those kind of knowledge repository as on today is not at the maximum level which we all want. Now, there are specific portals. It can be related to policy, it can be related to health, it can be related to specific work, where information is available for these kind of workforce. So these kind of portals should be available. Let's say if I would like to provide particular relief during a disaster to a specific person, right? I need to read that policy if I am working as a frontline for that particular department. Now, the access of these kind of policies, steps, terms and conditions should be readily available for these kind of workforce. Another thing is, while various works are being executed on ground, there is a need to schedule these kind of management. There is a need to assign the task. There is a need to have a consolidated, centralized view. What is the exact status of those tasks? Now, while there are lots of execution on ground, and we are talking about there should be a communication and collaboration between these kind of workforce, there might be specific line of business applications, right? Say examples were related to harvesting, related to farmers, related to sugar industry, related to knowledge. So those kind of line of business integration, apps integrations also is required so that everything is getting consolidated for this particular workforce. Now, modern device and experience. Now, while the access is available, but what kind of experience we are giving to these frontline workforces so that they can consume this knowledge and can finish the task which have been assigned to them. Slightly, I am going granular. I have bifurcated the various tasks here. Now, while there is a need of communication, that communication can happen in ad hoc way. There is a need of communications in the real time. There is a need of, as I said, onboarding these kind of employees to the new policies, to new steps, to new terms and conditions. And while everyone is working on ground, they might not be in touch with the centralized people to get that kind of engagement which is required, so that monotonous environment is not there with them. They are consuming the various benefits which are required while they are working on the job. So these kind of employee and customer engagement capabilities should also be available to these kind of workforce. Now, where to start? See, if you would like to start giving the experience to these particular workforce so that they can further build the enrich experience for the citizen. You have to provide those kind of tools which will make them more productive, which will reduce their stress, which will reduce their time to execute these kind of work, these kind of different works on ground. And we have to build the automation. So automation can be, let's say, I am on ground, I would like to provide certain relief fund to one particular citizen. Now, depending upon the form which I have filled, depending upon the input which that particular citizen has provided, there might be a need to take approval from someone so that I can go ahead on that particular step. Now, as on today, these kind of steps might be completely manual. So can we build these kind of automation in the entire process so that the approval process, which is there to execute these 3-4 steps to deliver that particular relief fund to the citizen, you can say at last, can we reduce that particular time taken? So overall, if you'll see, if we will build the experience for frontline, they will further enhance the experience for citizen, and the result which we all want, right, in terms of investing so many things around digital transformation, digital governance, can be achievable in a you can say in the intended way. Now, how we can achieve that? So we have a solution from Microsoft, we call Microsoft 365. That particular platform provide capability for this workforce so that they can communicate with each other in real time in ad hoc way. They should be able to access the different resources, knowledge management, the content management platform right there within that particular platform. There are solutions around building the schedules, managing those schedules, capturing the attendance, capturing the locations, so that whenever they are executing on ground, these kind of processes can be automated, can be digitized, and lots of effectiveness and efficiency can be built while these processes will get delivered on the ground. Task management, all these workforces will be out to execute something, right? And they are supposed to deliver, let's say, 4 or 5 tasks throughout the day. One way is they will note down these kind of tasks on the piece of paper. They will go in field. They will try to finish this task. They will come back to the head office. They will say these kind of things I have finished. And after that, there will be a visibility for the individual. What is the status of these kind of tasks while they are executing on ground? Can we digitize all these process? Can we automate the entire task management? Can we provide a centralized view for the leadership? What are the exact status of different tasks which have been assigned to these workforce? And finally, line of business applications, it can be related to a specific priority which needs to be executed by this particular workforce. So all these capabilities can be provided by using Microsoft 365 platform, which will digitize manual processes, will build lots of automation, will reduce time, will provide the enriched end user experience for the you can say frontline workforce, and down the line it will be able to achieve the objective for the government which we all are talking about. Now, all these capabilities will have inbuilt security and compliance platform, right? We were talking about these kind of informations might get access, let's say, through a single device, which is being used by entire family. How to manage those kind of devices so that those devices are getting adhere with the security and compliance need of government, so that new cyber threats are not happening through these devices which may get compromised, and the entire public system, public applications can be compromised. Couple of slides I have put which are related to the solutions so that you will be able to easily understand what exactly I am talking about. One of the example is this platform is having capability to have communication in ad hoc way as well as in real time. And we observed lots of security personnel were here. They were using walkie-talkie machines, the walkie-talkie devices. They were having mobile devices. So there is a app, and we call Microsoft Teams. Within the Teams app platform, there is a capability to get connect with each other in ad hoc way. You can start with enterprise chat. You can have 1:1 call. Even it is having capability of like walkie-talkie. You can have real-time conversations, which is always on in the real time. Another aspect which was discussed today as a major point, while lots of service deliveries, lots of initiatives are getting delivered by government on ground, and there are new objectives, new initiatives, how to onboard the new users, new citizens, new workforce easily so that they are getting aware about these new initiatives. If there is a need to provide onboarding and training to these workforce so that they can be more effective and efficient in their work, so those kind of capabilities are there within this entire solutions. And beauty of this solution is we say this particular platform acts as a single hub for teamwork. If there is a need to communicate with each other, if there is a need to have virtual meeting, if there is a need to access the knowledge management platform, if there is a need to consume the various aspect related to that particular workforce, it can be related to the employee health, it can be related to employee leave, it can be related to something else. All those capabilities can be integrated in a single app, and the Microsoft team can act as a platform where we say it can act as a single hub for teamwork. You can work together using a single app and can consume all these communication, collaborations, knowledge generation, knowledge consumption capabilities so that these users can be more productive. Now, as I was saying, centrally, you can assign the task to this particular workforce category. And while these tasks will get assigned, there has to be a centralized view. What is the status of these kind of tasks? Now you can share easily the informations to the head offices, to the center also. Someone said, while we are talking about lots of initiative, there has to be bi-directional communication, right? If there is a need to highlight something in terms of picture, in terms of video, I would like to annotate, I would like to access all the files at one locations. So these are the capabilities which are inbuilt to this particular platform so that that frontline worker is becoming more productive. They can share the informations from the from the same platform. They can consume the information also from the same platform. So everything is integrated here. You can build deeper connection across your organization. I'll give you one example. There might be 100 of workforce doing the same thing, and they might be struggling with a specific blocker, specific pain point, and everyone is looking for answers. Can we provide a particular platform where they can discuss their own issues, and someone might have resolved that particular issue already in the past? So can someone become a leader to provide the solution to a particular issue? So lots of conversation kind of aspect can be integrated in the content management platform like knowledge management within the single integrated platform which we are talking about. I said you can manage the schedules also. We call shift management within this particular platform. So we can manage schedules. We can capture the attendance with geolocations. Lots of these kind of workforce are going to feel, and there is a need to capture where they are going, when they have reported, when they are exited from that particular location. So lots of insight should be there in terms of their attendance and location. So these kind of use cases are inbuilt in this particular platform. Now, sometimes everyone is working, right? And they are working to achieve some sort of satisfactions on the job. and that particular satisfaction can be in terms of incentive. That particular satisfaction can be imparted to specific workforce in terms of simply praising them, right? So these kind of aspect where we can create some sort of engaged and inclusive workspace, where there should be opportunity to provide certain rewards, praise to these kind of workforce, so that they can feel motivated, they can feel charged every day to execute that particular task which have been assigned to them. We can digitize lots of manual processes, as I said. So simple example I gave, there is one app which needs to be filled by the employee who is responsible to provide a relief depending upon a particular disaster, right? We were discussing that particular use case. One thing is that particular employee or workforce will note down everything manually, and depending upon those input, he or she will come back to the central office, or you can say different department, and he or she will try to get approval, so that that approval, that particular relief can be processed now. Can we automate the entire use case within the tool, right? So there can be automations around building the input within the app. There can be repository around that. The entire process of approval can be also automated once inputs are there, depending upon the types of inputs. There can be further improvement while approval processes are placed. If there is a need to get the intelligence, what kind of approval have been provided to these aspects, right? Is there any centralized view? So all these processes can be converted from manual to digital form, so that there can be further productivity enhancement while we are executing these tasks on ground. And one of the example, as I said, approval process. So these kind of applications are inbuilt to this particular platform. Whenever there is a need, someone is in the field, and sometimes we need specific answer. We have to interact with someone who are sitting at different location, who are sitting at central location, and we want immediate resolution from their side. There might be scenarios around services. That particular task worker is executing something related to server. He or she may need specific help, and the SME for that particular task might be sitting somewhere. So those kind of virtual interaction can be there right away on that particular tool. And beauty of this particular platform, to summarize, when I was talking about, if there is a need to communicate with each other, if there is a need to work together, if there is a need to build automations within the entire process, if there is a need to get approval, if there is a need to consume and generate different kind of knowledge effectively, all these capabilities can be provided from a single UI. So that while we are talking about intuitiveness for these kind of workforce, one thing is we are delivering so many capabilities. Another critical aspect is how easily we can provide these capabilities to ensure they are consuming 100% all the capabilities, so that they can work effectively and efficiently, can be more productive. So we are having a concept within the platform where platform will act as a single of a teamwork. All these capabilities by a single tap on mobile, tablet, browser, and laptop devices be accessed from a single platform, single UI. And if you'll see, lots of productivity enhancement will automatically happen. If I will go to a browser to access certain knowledge platform, particular training consumption, and I'll go to another browser or another app to communicate and collaborate with each other, lots of time will get wasted. If you can integrate all these capabilities in a single UI, in a single platform, automatically productivity will increase. Automatically it will give you specific capability where it will be very easy to use and it will be intuitive. Now, last thing, we had a detailed discussion around security. So within the solution, we have capability to manage the devices, browser, mobile devices, in terms of ensuring whenever they are connecting back to these kind of public and confidential repositories, those conditions are checked in terms of security and compliance, then only access to these critical infrastructure, critical information, critical apps will be provided to these workforce while they will try to access these information from remotely. So in net, if you'll see, the entire solution can bring various benefit to this frontline workforce. Though we are calling this particular workforce who normally execute the work and task on ground as frontline. But as per me, this particular workforce which we are calling as frontline should be at center so that we are able to deliver the priorities which we all intend to execute on time with the maximum productivity and with all profitability. So thanks a lot. This is what I intend to share with you in today's presentation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. And may I request Dr. Ravi Gupta, CEO and Editor-in-Chief, eGov Magazine and Digital Learning Magazine, to please come on stage and present a small token of appreciation to Mr. Manish Gupta, Solution Leader, Modern Work and Security, Government Vertical, Microsoft India. Can we please have a round of applause for Mr. Manish Gupta? If you could also present the eGov magazine to Mr. Manish Gupta. Thank you. And with this, we come to the end of a wonderful and insightful conference. I would request Dr. Ravi Gupta, CEO and Editor-in-Chief, eGov Magazine and Digital Learning Magazine, to give his concluding remarks.
Thank you, all our esteemed speakers and esteemed audience. We had a great day with starting with education and moving out to digital governance, and a lot of learnings, a lot of sharing both from government and the industry perspective. And I hope this has been useful, and we will have updates and report of this event on our social media, so you can read more about it and watch the videos if you wish to. With this, we will close here. You can log on to our website, eletsonline.com, and read about this event's proceedings also there also. With this, we will close this. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
I'll request the audience to please join us for tea outside. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patience and your presence here. Thank you.
जय जय राम कृष्ण हरि जय। क्या करूं मैं इस दूध वाले का? लड्डू, जाओ उस रामेश्वर को बुला के ला। बोलना दादी ने बुलाया। पैसा भैंस का लेता है, दूध बकरी का देता है।
दादी, वो तो भाग गया।
जाने दे, जाऊन जाऊन जाणार कुठे? दुनिया गोल है, घूम के इधर ही आएगा।
म्हणजे दुनिया गोल आहे?
हाँ, दुनिया गोलम गोल है, तेरे जैसी।
गोला गोला गोल गोल गोला गोला गोल गोल गोला गोला गोल 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 दादू का चश्मा गोल 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 दादी की बिंदिया है गोल 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 सरपट भागो फट फट लेकर अपना झोला झोल।